right, stream is...
Pro Football Hall of Famer, top 100.
Tyler Lockett from the Seattle Seahawks.
DK Metcalf from
Hey Burleson, you're watching NorbCam.
NorbCam.
You're watching NorbCam.
What's up, everybody? This is NorbCam coming at you here for the first, kind of the return of the NorbCam Roundtable. I haven't done this in a while, but with Seahawks training camp right around the corner, the season creeping up on us, Russell Wilson coming back to us, and who knows what kind of god-awful color uniform that he's going to have on. We got a lot to talk about. About the 2022 Seahawks, and I feel like I just can't do this by myself. I need some help. I need some people who really know something beyond my limited knowledge about the Seahawks to make me, sound smarter. And that's what you do, right? Smart people, if you want to make yourself sound smarter, you surround yourself with people who know more than you do. And that's what we got tonight on the return of the roundtable. So let's not waste any time introducing everybody here. So without further ado, let's bring on the roundtable. There they are in the flesh, everybody, just going around. We've got Sky-High Aviation to my left. On the far right for you is the one and only Mark Collins of Save Our Seahawks. And then down below right here, we've got New York Vinnie. For those of you who have been in the Seattle area for a while, you guys know who he is. We'll talk about very specific intros in a second here. And of course, in my bottom right, we've got Squabo Says, Noah Bolter, my good friend, and our sports expert over there in Wazoo. So you guys can open up your mics now because this is time to chat. So I want to thank everybody for watching here. We've got this thing going out to YouTube, also simulcasting on Facebook and my NorbCam Facebook page. So for everybody watching, welcome. Appreciate you guys being on here. Feel free to chat, type in your thoughts, and if any good comments come on, we'll try to respond to them as they scroll on by. I can't promise you anything, but we will try to do so. So if you have any questions you might want to ask, we'll try to answer them if there's some good ones in there. But we're going to be talking all about Seahawks tonight, baby. So, and then at the end of the show, we're going to put out the link, and so some of you might be able to jump in on a Q&A and actually be able to jump in on the panel if you have some questions near the end of the program. So let's just kind of go around the horn, and I want to give everybody a chance here to kind of talk about who they are, what their channels are, where you might find them, so that, after this show, you can look and see what their own social media content is. So let's just kind of go around the horn clockwise. So Sky-High Aviation. Sky-High, you've been part of the NorbCam family, both on YouTube and on Discord. And I know, obviously, Sky-High Aviation, you are a pilot to be eventually one day. But tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you'd like to let them know about you.
I'm Sky Aviation. Just make sure you guys can hear me right. We've run into this problem before, but I'm Sky Aviation.
You sound great.
Yeah, good. I have my own YouTube channel. I'm a huge Seahawks fan. A lot of you guys know me. I got some new stuff coming out actually tomorrow, some brand new stuff. I've actually got a lot of stuff lined up. I've been behind, but I've been getting to work, being able to do this, and I'm happy for this opportunity. I'm ready for football to start back up again. I can't wait for all this to happen. So, Norb, you did forget, I do support you monetarily as well. I do pay.
And you support me monetarily besides the time. Yes, thank you for being a member of the Norb fam, which is a way of people be able to support my channel, and I appreciate you, man, for doing that.
Join Norb fam.
And so I won't hold the fact that against you that you are, because of the fact you support my channel monetarily, I won't hold the fact against you that you are a avid Astros fan.
Oh.
Boo! Man, you just ruined our weekend. We came out of the All-Star break, 14-game streak, looking to tie our franchise record, and your Astros came in here and spanked us around. That was really, that was not cool, man.
Couldn't have made me happier. see that happen. So
anyway, Astros fan, we got to move over to the side there. We got Mark Collins wearing the Mariners hat with the it's got the pitchfork logo, but it's in blue, so it's kind of a different alternate color. But Mark, you and I, it's no secret. If anyone who watches my channel knows you and I have been friends for a while now, really since after Super Bowl 48. You and I became friends the season after Super Bowl 48, and we started our charity, Fans for Good, and we've been friends ever since. But tell everybody a little bit about, this is your first time on a roundtable, so let's kind of share with people what they might want to know about Mr. Mark Collins.
I'm probably not going to be on here a lot. I'm here for the entertainment value only, and not mine. But I want to, Mr. New York Vinnie over there. He's a big. I'm a big fan of his. Let's put it that way. And but yeah, I was one of 820, 364 people that voted for referendum 48, 25 years ago in June. And we were able to get Paul Allen, as you see behind Vinnie there. We got Paul Allen to buy the Seahawks, but in doing so with referendum 48. A lot of things came along with that, new exhibition center, a football stadium, concert venue, soccer stadium, and now World Cup. And that is why, along with Vinnie, Norb, and a few other people, we're leading the charge to try to get Occidental from King Street to Royal Brome there changed over to Paul Allen Boulevard. And hopefully we can do that. Vinnie thinks we can, and if Vinnie thinks we can do it, I got a lot of confidence in it. So. You see the background there, and Vinnie can talk more about that. But yeah, I'm a nobody. You guys are the experts. I'm here to learn from you, Paul.
Well, you and I put you and I as we're in the fan category where we have our opinions just like everybody else does, and I want to hear yours too, Mark, because you have some things that you may or may not want to share about certain aspects of the team, but I think it's always entertaining. So
I'm good. I know where my bread is buttered. But I'm a contractor by day. People, I'm dirty. I got dirty pants on and just came in from outside. So the fact that I'm saving myself from 95-degree weather outside and it's only 80 inside, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, that's a scorcher today. Getting up to 95, which is crazy. Quick shout out to Ancient Hawk 48 in the super chat. It says, sad to see Carson go, but excited to see more of Penny and see what the rookie can do out there. We'll definitely talk a little bit about that. The news coming down that Chris Carson is retiring from football due to that neck injury that he had. But the Seahawks seem to be taking care of him, making sure he gets paid even as he's exiting the game of football. So let's go to New York Vinnie. Vinnie, first I got to say it's an honor to have you on here. I never thought in my wildest dreams, listening to you back in the early 90s all the way through the 2000s, that I'd someday be hosting a show and having you as a guest, because that would never cross my brain back in the day. But I enjoyed listening to you.
I will tell you that I was on the radio and knowing you were listening, I would say someday in the future, I will be hanging out with Norb on the NorbCam.
Well, it's through Mark that I got to know Vinnie, and really it's because of this movement that we're trying to get going here, which is the renaming of Occidental Avenue to Paul Allen Boulevard, which is why I met you, because Mark was like, we need to bring some people on to make this thing happen. I got just the guy, New York Vinnie, because he was instrumental in helping back in the Save Our Seahawks movement to keep the Seahawks in town when they were potentially going to be moved to Los Angeles. And you guys, obviously, big story about that. But, because of a lot of support from a lot of fans and, of course, Paul Allen being the one who came in and ultimately saved the day, we feel like it's just the ultimate tribute to, while people still remember his name, to have that appropriately named after him. So it's great to have you on here, Vinnie, and Mark teaming up on that movement. But Vinnie, tell people about what you're doing. For a lot of people, I know there are a lot of youngsters who don't know your voice yet, but I want them to know where they can find you, know a little bit about, what you mean to the sports landscape in the city of Seattle.
Well, for those who don't know me, I spent almost 20 years on, first I started on KJR early on with a guy named Michael Knight. We used to do the mornings. And then I moved to the middays during the whole baseball stadium thing, and did a post-game show. And then in 1997 and 98, actually, I went over to Cairo and did the post-game Mariners post-game Seahawks huddle, I like to tell Dave Wyman that I taught him how to be a broadcaster. I didn't, but I like to tell him that. And we, hosted the huddle for, 5, 6, 7 years, hosted the Seahawk post-game show, call-in show, and did a lot of work around the Seahawks. I was also the weekend sports anchor on Channel 13 and also on their Seahawk game day coverage. Also I was a reporter in that stuff. So I've been around the Seahawks a long time. I left to go to the enemy in 2010. I spent 10 years in Pittsburgh covering the Steelers and the Pirates, mostly the Pirates, but I did put a sports station on the air in Pittsburgh and was there for 10 years and decided that there ain't nothing like Seattle. So got in the car, drove back out here 2 years ago, and I've been here ever since. Right now I'm doing my old partner, Michael Knight, and I do a show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Facebook Live. And on Saturday morning, I do a show about one of my other true loves besides sports and women, which is cars. I love cars. I get to have this unique thing where I drive a new car every week, take the cars out, test them, write about them, do a lot of information. The show's called Drive Time Radio. It's on KKNW, which is at 11:50 a.m. every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. And we get together and we talk about cars.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad you came back to the Pacific Northwest and to have you back on here and still doing your thing. So I did put a link. Actually, I have links to everybody who's got YouTube channels and stuff. So I have the link to your Facebook Live, so they can find that in the description as well. So make sure you check that out when you get a chance. And Vinny's got such a distinctive voice that it's hard not to just enjoy listening to you talk about whatever it might be, whether it be women, cars, or sports. It all sounds entertaining when it comes out of your mouth, man.
I'll give you a few minutes on all three anytime you want. But it's really good, Norman. I thank you because it's really good to be, this is home for me now. I love this place so much. I love Pittsburgh. It was a great city, a lot like Seattle in many, many ways. But it's good to be back here. It's good to see Seahawk fans and how rabid they are about this team now. Wasn't always like that, man. I mean, I remember the days when you couldn't give Seahawk tickets away. Forget about it. You call somebody up and say, hey, you want a couple of tickets? And they say, no, I got a couple of tickets. I'll give them to you. That would be the argument, not who's going to be the starting quarterback. So it was really interesting, but it's good to be back, and it's really good to see fans that are so into this team.
For sure. And I'm a little nervous about this year coming up because you brought up I remember those days when I couldn't give tickets away, and it wasn't that long ago. I mean, and it also, I realized it's been 20 years since we've had this stadium. Can you believe 20-year anniversary of we call it Lumen Field, but it was Seahawks Stadium, CenturyLink Quest, but 20 years went by fast. But I remember even that first year that it opened, we weren't that good of a team. And I remember trying to give away my tickets, and people were like, it's okay. I got more important things to do. I was like, man. But yeah, a lot of things have changed since then. But things are about to change again because, of all the things that have happened this past offseason, and we'll get into that in a second. But Vinny, it's great to have you on here. So I can't wait to dive into this topic. But I got to introduce our final guest on the panel. That, of course, is Mr. Noah Bolter, a.k.a. Squabo Says. Squabo, you and I have collabed so many times, and, I go back to how you and I met the first time at that Kent Ridge High School football night when I was just watching the game, and you were up there broadcasting, and you were still at Green River at the time, and you're like, hey, Norb, come on up here, and next you know, I'm hanging out with you and at the Green River Studios, appearing on your show, and then I brought you on mine, and I look at what you're doing now, man. It's awesome to see where you've come and gone and what lies ahead for you. So tell people a little bit about you and what you're up to and what's next for Squabo Says.
I got to start this with nothing but gratitude, man. I'm so excited just to be here and to be back doing the roundtable. I don't know if we're ever going to do it again this season, but I'm grateful for this opportunity right now. Like the fact that you reached out to me, the fact that, we got all these brilliant minds that we're putting together in one place. New York, Vinny, I didn't know nothing about you, and I apologize because that means I'm uncultured as a Washingtonian.
No, not at all, man. I was gone for 10 years. When I left, you were what, like 11?
If that.
I'm 22 now, so I don't know how we're dating this, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? So you obviously got some swagger to you. Nice to meet you. Sky-High Aviation, my brother. Look, I have gotten to watch you grow and just continue to, show how much knowledge you have at such a young age. You're running circles around what I would have been doing at your age and what all these other kids your age are doing. So I'm continuously impressed by you. And Mark Collins, man, you can't understate your value and what you brought to the Seattle area. Without you, what I'm doing would have never came to fruition because the Seahawks wouldn't be here. And so I want to say thank you for that. And to NorbCam especially, like, for being willing to talk to this dumb kid on a student-run radio station when you were there to support, your school where your daughters go and all that stuff. So it's nothing but love. I'm grateful to be here. I'm excited to talk sports with y'all. I just got done. So now what I do on Tuesdays, I be talking about, I got my little sports show on my channel I'll be doing. We talked about all this stuff from today. We talked Mariners, Seahawks. And then I went on, and I'm a part of this NFC West Roundtable now, where I was talking with a Cardinals fan, a 49ers fan, and a Rams fan. And I was beating them down as to why this Kyler Murray homework assignment is not good for them moving forward. So it's nice to be in a room full of intelligent Seahawks fans again instead of all these ignorant Rams and Cardinal 49er fans. So,
Thought maybe somebody came in.
that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And Alina Dahl, she's a fabulous moderator on my YouTube channel. She came in and had to throw some jabs in there. Alina Dahl says, "Squabo, how can you not know New York Vinnie?" Alina is one of those gals. She's old school. She remembers the days of Largent, all the boys from the past, back when we weren't so good. So she knows, she knows our history. So it's great to have Alina watching
I love
tonight.
that, man. Yeah. One of my great memories of being back in Pittsburgh is I would drive from Pittsburgh to Detroit every January for the auto show, the big first auto show that's there. And I would always wear my Seahawks jersey, my Largent jersey, when I would drive from, and I don't know why, it was just something that, because of what happened in Detroit, we all know, we don't need to go over it. I just always wore that jersey. And every time I would stop on the turnpike in Ohio, or going up, the 75 to Detroit, there would always be people stopping me and hollering, "Yo, Seahawks, go Seahawks," and everything. It was amazing. You always saw Steeler fans, but they all the people were like, "Man, Seahawks, Largent, old school." It was great. I mean, a little fat guy like me in a Largent jersey, that's probably doing him a disservice, but but it was good to see.
Man.
Love spreads all over the country, man. It's good to see.
Yeah.
Well, especially now, there was still a time where it felt like not that long ago in early 2010 where we were still kind of a laughing stock, still kind of a team that, we had just, Pete Carroll got here and we were that team that was, first playoff team with a losing record, hosting the former, Super Bowl champ Saints in that Beastquake game. And still we had no respect from anybody, but so much has changed since then. And obviously we're now a major market team that everybody, looks to. But this is going to be new territory. Once again, this is kind of a major shift. I want to get into it now because we've got a lot to cover, and I promise you guys we try to keep the show to an hour. You're going to probably make a liar out of me, but let's try to see what we can do. So first thing I want to just talk about is just what's your guys' outlook on the team? Everybody, if you ask any of the pundits, all the critics out there are assuming we're already going to be dead last with a record of we'll be lucky to get 4 wins out of this team. If you agree with that, then you don't have to say much. But if you have an opposing thought that we're going to be better than 4-13, I'd like to hear why that is. So whoever wants to go first, give me a reason why Seahawks fans should have hope that we're going to be better than that. There you go. The fan speaks. Mark Collins, 17-0. Hey, I'll just be happy we get that first game and beat Russ and the Broncos, but we'll talk about that in a second. But
I just don't know how anybody can say what this team is going to be. I mean, it shocks me because I don't think you can say that they're going to be 4-13. I don't think you can say they're going to be 13-4. You don't know what you have here. You got a lot of upside, a lot of talent, a lot of people. You got a defense, and we all know defense can win you a lot of games. You have an adjustment because you lose your quarterback, But you don't know what. I mean, is Geno Smith the answer? I don't know, but we don't know what Drew Lock is yet. We're not sure. So he may come out of the box and start chucking the ball around and be something. This may be his chance to shine, to give him the keys to an offense. Pete Carroll is going to finally get a team where he feels like I don't know, he's a defensive guy. He's going to have a defensive team, and he's going to have a good offensive line, what seems to be a good offensive line. I mean, I don't see any. I would say right now 8-8 before camp starts. But let's see what's going to happen when camp starts and guys start taking reps.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into the quarterback discussion in a second here. Sky-High, you've been quiet over there, and this is the way. See, Squabo. This is the way Squabo works. Squabo's he kind of always sits back. He likes to sort of digest everything. He's got a million things to say, but he's always going to wait his turn. He's going to sit back and kind of okay, I see. All right, I see where you're coming from, and then he's going to come in here with some fiery arguments. I'm waiting for that. I hope. Talking about hope for the Seahawks, but before I go to Sky-High, I got to shout out Alina's super chat. She says, "Okay, New York, Vinnie, and Mark, what is your favorite Largent play?" Norb knows mine. Yes, I do. I know a lot of people have that one, but
Mike Harden.
I think that's a lot of people's favorite.
I think it's hard not to say that's one of the best. He's had some great, amazing catches. So many you can't count, but that one stands out. Vinny, you got anything else? A favorite Largent play?
No, I couldn't argue with that, man. I mean, I wasn't here when Largent was playing, so I didn't get to see him as much as everybody else has. But just everything you saw from him, the highlights, because that's pretty much what I saw of Largent a lot of times. And I know that he laid hat on the Raiders a whole bunch of times. Made him look sick at times. And so I got nothing but respect for the guy, as a player, as a human being. It's so I'll go with your play, Mark.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
You've seen that replay, huh, Vin?
I've probably seen 100 different replays.
Mike Harden intercepted. It had to be Mudbone, I would assume.
Yeah,
I think so. I think it was Craig. Intercepted by Harden. Harden starts to run it back towards the near sideline, and then is just looking to run, and then Largent from nowhere clocks him, decleats him, ball comes loose, and then Largent recovers the fumble. I mean, it's a great thing. And the reason the context of it is important is because I don't know how many weeks earlier, but in Denver when they played, Harden laid a cheap shot and just it was like I don't know if it was blindside or clothesline or whatever, but he knocked him out for several minutes. He was down on the ground, so this is like a revenge play. That's what made it all the more sweet.
Football.
But football was football when they let them do those things. Of course, and now they've taken that play out, so we're not going to see that much anymore without a flag being thrown. But that's for a different discussion for another day. So, Sky-High, do you have something for us to give Seahawks fans hope that we're going to be better than 4-13?
I mean, before I get into that, I kind of want to say, my full outlook of this team is a bit different than what I thought of it in the previous years. Previous years, I would always think that, it's this team is about Russell Wilson. This team, is Russell Wilson is its core. This team gravitates around Russell Wilson. And that part is true, right? But this year, after we traded Russell Wilson, I kind of didn't have that feeling of sadness or, upsetness. I kind of knew that at some point this was going to happen, but I kind of have this feeling that we're going to surprise a lot of people, but it may not be as good as people think, as good as people expect it to be. So, to put it this way, this team has a lot of spots that people aren't paying attention to, like the wide receiver group, the tight ends. The offensive line is a bit of a question. I think a lot of people are counting us out on the offensive line, despite the production that was created in the previous last year towards the end of the season. The defense obviously is really young, and it reminds me of those early years when we had that, that nucleus of players in the Legion of Boom. And I think what Pete Carroll did to make that defense successful was have so much depth. I mean, you could have guys getting injured, suspended, and the next guy would come and step right up. A perfect example would be Brandon Browner getting suspended in the middle of a championship season, and Byron Maxwell comes out and literally just like that starts picking people off left and right, and all of a sudden has become a starting cornerback. And within a couple of years, he's getting paid big bucks because he is a valuable piece. So I see what the Seahawks are doing. They're trying to run that formula of what we had back, and they're trying to, build depth in the secondary, build depth where they think they're going to be strongest in the future. And, who knows? We may turn out I see the season going two ways. I see it going Drew Lock. It proves to everyone that he was, that Russell Wilson was nothing special and that this offense can be run by pretty much anyone, or that Drew Lock is, about as bad as we think he's going to be, and he struggles and this offense struggles, and we end up drafting a quarterback pretty high in the draft next year. So,
see, I hate the idea of people thinking that Russell Wilson wasn't as special as we thought he was, because I think Russell Wilson was special. I think there was a speciality about him. There was a way he carried this team for so long. And I know people will say, well, the last 2 years, maybe he didn't want to be here, maybe he wanted to come back fast. I know there's a lot of stuff that's there, but I mean, Russell Wilson made this team a legitimate team. Russell Wilson and the offense and many other factors, but he put them, his style of offense and what he did put them on the map. And still got this team to 2 Super Bowls and won one, and really he gained the respect of the media and the league people all around the country. So it's hard to. I just don't want to. I hate to hear people say Russell Wilson won nothing, because he was a whole lot of this team. Now, is he irreplaceable? No, I don't think anybody's irreplaceable. But especially if you decide that you're going to play a different style of game. But I just don't like fans saying, I'm going to boo him when he comes and this and that. I mean, so many things that I hear from people and see online. Don't be like that to the guy. The guy got this team to a certain place where it really hadn't been before.
Yeah, it's really not fair. A lot of people, again, talk about when he got traded were upset. They weren't happy. They thought, oh, Russell Wilson, did this because he wanted out of Seattle, and this is just.
I wasn't happy. I was pissed.
I mean, you can't. I
thought he was here. I thought he was here to stay. So I was made. I felt like a fool when it came down. I had all kinds of bitter emotions.
Shout
I know
out,
Mark did too. Mark's being quiet over there, but I know he's biting his tongue over there. Where's your cat Wilson, by the way? Where's your cat Wilson, by the way, Mark? Is Wilson around? You got to bring Wilson on camera. Mark's got a cat named Wilson, but it's not named after Russell.
It's not after Russell Wilson though. It's after the volleyball.
Which Wilson is he named after? Woodrow?
No. The volleyball I went to the shelter and adopted him like the weekend COVID started 2 years ago. But there was a reason why he was in the shelter. That sucker has drawn many pints of blood. I wouldn't say pints, but he's drawn a lot of blood. He's nuts.
That cat's vicious. You got to bring that vicious little cat on camera at some point. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I got to interrupt because Tyler Parcher, another one of my huge supporters who's been dying to get this message out, wanted to say Julio Rodriguez on his first at-bat since he's been out since the All-Star break hits a home run to give the Seahawks, the Mariners, a 1-0 lead. So there you go. If anybody was concerned that Julio Rodriguez was in trouble, what?
Kyle Lewis got an RBI single that brought in Geno from second. So now we're up 2-0.
Geno Smith is playing for the Mariners now?
No, Eugenio. They call him Geno.
I know. Eugenio. I don't know where the A comes from.
Vinnie, what's
2-0. I like it.
The Mets score. You say you're watching the Mets.
I turned it off so I could pay attention because I kept looking at it. Let's see, Mets are up 6-3. And see, in my world, in case you don't know this,
go Mets.
There's nothing that really matters when the Mets are playing the Yankees. There's nothing else that really matters in the world. Nothing matters in the world except that the Mets beat the Yankees. If they go to the World Series, great. But if they beat the Yankees during the year, that's what really counts, man. That's what it's all about. It's like when the Sonics used to beat the Trailblazers.
Yes. So we understand that. It's a long way back trying to remember what it was like having a basketball team here. But yeah, no, I just understand that rivalry. It's kind of like a Wazoo UW kind of thing. I don't want to bring that up. That
because
it was great. I completely agree.
In fact, I still owe you some Mountain Dews if I'm not mistaken.
And
Squabo.
a steak, but who's counting? Hey,
For me, if Wazoo beats UW, I'm good with college football. The whole, that's it. See you later. I'm a Cougar fan, so I got indoctrinated when I first moved here. They had me up on top of the Coug for a weekend, and I mean, what else more could you possibly want in the world but to live up there for homecoming weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the Yankees, man, they're like them, the Astros, and the Dodgers. All three of those teams like chasing that, trying to chase that 116 win record that the Mariners had. Vinny, were you around for the 95 and the 2001 Mariners?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's sad that we have to go back 20 freaking years and then some to talk about anything good as far as postseason for the Mariners. That's how long this drought has been. It's crazy.
Well, that's what the lesson is, Norb. The lesson is enjoy it while you can, because you never know when it's going to go away. Enjoy the good times. Enjoy the winning when they're winning, because it can go away from you like that. All of a sudden,
didn't we all think?
20 years, you're not in the playoffs. And it's not like they haven't spent the money, the Mariners. I mean, they've spent the money. They just,
they spent it in the wrong places. I don't know. But
first team to spend $100 million and lose 100 games.
Yeah, it's not been good. The word curse, cursed comes into mind. But, it's like after we won Super Bowl 48, didn't we feel like we were going to go back-to-back? And we should have gone back-to-back. But it felt like we'll be back next year.
Yeah.
Okay, next year. 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 Oh, crap, Russell Wilson's traded. And then all of a sudden, here we are.
I can't tell you how many athletes that I've interviewed over the years at Super Bowls and championship games and stuff like that have said to me that you always think you're going to go back next year. You always think that it's going to last forever. But what you don't realize is that you might be there just for that moment, that might be your moment, and that's it. And that's all. And you're gone. You get traded, you get hurt, whatever happens to you. So, when you get into these situations, enjoy it, because it really is a fleeting thing.
Yeah. I got a shout out to New Sazgs. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Nua Sazgs. The super chat. Wilson will prove his fraud while Locke is the next Breeze. Well, okay. That's quite the reach of the statement, but hey, you never know. You never know.
Your lips
We're
to
going to talk
God's
about
ears,
it.
right?
Yep. All right, so I can't remember where we left off. I think Squabo still has yet to chime in. I'm waiting for the thunderous closing argument here, but Squabo, do you have something to say that counters a 4-13 finish for the 2022 Seattle Seahawks?
It's just interesting you bring that up, because I have I predicted every single game, and I've been on record predicting every single game. So I'm kind of in the middle here, right? Like, I think Russell Wilson needs to be greatly appreciated. It's actually, and I think last time I was on, I told you about like the story. I saw Russell Wilson 2 days before he got traded. It was down at the Vegas tournament.
Yeah.
And so I was down there. He was there supporting his sister who plays for Stanford. And so I'm walking by Russ, and at the time I didn't realize I was saying probably the worst thing I could have said to Russell Wilson, because obviously he knew he was getting traded, but I didn't. And so I walked by and I'm like, "Hey, Russ, go Hawks!" And he like sits there with like this awkward look, and he's like on the phone, like, don't talk to me. And it's like one of those things where it was like super awkward. And so like now one of my life missions is to be like, "Hey, Russell Wilson, just so you know, I still love you. Like, I support you. I would get a Broncos jersey of Russell Wilson just to support him, because I'm not mad about why he's leaving Seattle. I'm the one that came out and said for ages we need to move on from Pete Carroll." And so the fact that Russell Wilson decided the same thing I'm thinking, I ain't mad at the player. I hate the game, and I hate what went wrong with him. So now let's take it back. Let's talk about what's happening this year. So I think Russell Wilson needs to be appreciated. First of all, last year he missed 3 games. He should have been gone for 8. One of those weeks was a bye. So for 4 games when he came back, he was still dealing with that mallet finger, where he was supposed to have been gone for the injury. So in even with that huge injury concern, he had 25 passing touchdowns last year with only 6 interceptions, right? It sounds it's a kind of higher end of quarterbacks, but not a great year in terms of stats. Well, when you compare it to Drew Lock's entire NFL career, he also has 25 touchdowns, but it's with 20 interceptions, and it's taken him 3 years to get it. So I do not have as much confidence in Drew Lock, and we're going to talk here in just a little bit about who we want to be the starter. I think Seahawks fans, and I'm taking this approach firsthand, we just need to get our expectations to the floor this year. Let's not expect the world. Let's let this team, who's been a competitor since 2012, have 1 year to kind of figure things out. We're changing our defensive scheme. We have a new defensive coordinator. We have this whole new era. We're going to get a new quarterback. We did not draft a single quarterback this year, and I don't believe Drew Lock is our long-term answer. So I believe that next year at the top of the draft, because there are going to be so many great quarterbacks at the top of the draft, we're going to make a move and go get our new franchise quarterback. What does that mean? Well, that means this year, because I think the Broncos are going to have a good year this year. I think this year we need to suck. We need to not have the best year. And so I don't say we're going 4-13. I predict we go 5-12. And I've gone through and predicted all the individual games. I think that puts us right in the range where our early first-round pick combined with a Broncos first and second pick, however we have to package it, if a quarterback doesn't fall to us, we'll be able to go up and get one.
Exactly.
I agree with some of that. I disagree with a lot of it.
That's
One, I will never be caught wearing a Russell Wilson Broncos jersey. That will never happen.
The Astros fan, Sky-High. Okay.
I would never wear a Russell Wilson Broncos jersey.
I'm just making that public right now. If you see that happen, that means I lost a bet or something.
But would you wear a Sierra dress?
It depends on the dress.
Yeah, I don't have the legs for it, so.
If it's good for my shoulders.
I have the calf. If it makes my calves look good, that's the one part of my body I actually feel good about. So that's all that matters. Newest Sags says Wilson blew a Super Bowl win and never made one without a number one defense. Well, we're not going to get into the debate of Russell and whether he was all he was what all people think he was or wasn't. We're moving on, so we're not going to spend too much time on that. But interesting take on it. So you didn't say, though, or did you say the record? Did you actually say the record?
5-12. 5-12.
5-12. That's right. You did say 5-12. So it wasn't. What did I say? 4-13. That I was kind of throwing out as the media saying it. So you're one above that. So all right. So Noah, it was not. Squabo Says not coming in with some feel good message. He's saying we should suck to get that draft pick next year.
Tank.
Well, yeah, there's a little bit more to it because you look at our roster, and I think our biggest holes are cornerback, center, and quarterback. Right, those are three really important positions that we need to figure out. Also, our right tackle and left tackle are extremely young. They're going to be developmental. I was able to watch Abraham Lucas very closely. I think he could be a good long-term option, but this year is a very developmental year. I think there's a real chance that we could go, especially with the depleted NFC. I'm not going to rule out us sneaking into the playoffs. I don't want that to happen because I don't think we can compete for a Super Bowl this year. I think we're going to run the ball as much as we can and hide our quarterback's deficiencies. We're going to abuse Ken Walker, and we're going to make him Offensive Rookie of the Year, first of all. He's a fantasy target for sure. But I just think that this is a year we have a higher ceiling, but as Seahawks fans, we got to go into it giving them the benefit of the doubt, saying, okay, even if this year doesn't go well, I know we'll be back next year.
So, all right.
Let me ask you this crazy question. If the Seahawks win week 1 and don't win the rest of the year, will fans be like, at least we beat Russell Wilson, or will it be? And I don't think that's going to happen. But I almost have a feeling that there's an undercurrent of people who say, as long as we beat Russell Wilson, who cares about the rest of the year? Which I find really bad because I think you should always go into a year thinking you're going to win. Right? Every team goes into the year thinking that they're going to at least make the playoffs.
I want to throw this out there because Squabo's throwing out this idea that we need to suck. And here's what I'm curious about, because I was a staunch believer that no team ever actually tries to tank. And then we started hearing the controversy last year about coaches actually being told to not win games from the, remember that? It's kind of been swept under the rug since, but there was these accusations that these coaches were actually told to not win games for that purpose you're talking about, which I think if that ever becomes the case, the game has serious integrity flaws in it if we get to a point where teams are actually trying not to win. But would Pete Carroll and the Seahawks actually try to not win these games? And how would you actually pull that off? I mean, I guess you could just pick the worst guy at quarterback. And
Pete Carroll's not that kind of person. We know that Pete Carroll is the ultimate symbol of
win forever, right?
Competition, right? So Pete Carroll would, no matter how, I can't imagine somebody, if you sent a professional negotiator, a lobbyist, into Pete Carroll's office, and and no matter how long that lobbyist just sat there trying to negotiate with Pete Carroll, trying to say you're going to have to lose these games, Pete Carroll would be completely against it, because Pete Carroll's that kind of person who goes in and he believes that we're going to go out no matter what team we have, no matter what kind of guys we have, that we're going to go out there and win the Super Bowl every single year. That's just Pete Carroll, right? That's this ideology. But and he would never be that kind of person to try and lose games. He's the guy who's always out there competition. He has all these different things. He's going to go out there and make those guys competitive as possible. Even if we lose those games, even if it happens, he's going to go and out there every week and say we competed and we did our best to win the game, even if we lose.
I feel like Squabo and Vinnie are on opposite sides of the spectrum here, because Noah looks like he doesn't believe it. And Vinnie, I feel like you are saying no way a team is going to tank on purpose.
I'm with Sky-High on this one. I find it hard to believe in the NFL that a team is going to tank it on purpose. I just don't. It's not. It's again, knowing coaches and having talked to coaches as I have over my career, it's not in their makeups to do that. Their goal, I mean, these are people who spend long hours in their offices plotting and scheming and trying to win games. That's what they live for. They live to win games. So it's hard for me to believe that a guy like Pete Carroll would do that. Now, if you had Rex Ryan or somebody like that, maybe I'd say, well, give him a good foot powder, and he's on his way. But I just don't get that from Pete or John Schneider or the Seahawks organization, that's how they operate. They're out there, they want to win. I think, and again, I'm not right all the time, but I think that they want to win every possible game that they can. And I think that's their credo. That's their goal. They know that there's limitations to it. They know that there's obstacles, but they're in it to win it. No matter if they're going to go 1-16 or 16-1, they want to win that last game.
See, and I respect where you're coming from. I'm hearing you. It's not that I think, and this is where I think it's really important to clarify. I don't think we're going to go into any single game this year coming up with a game plan. We're like, okay, we're going to let them try and win. I don't think that's going to happen at all. What I think is that we are intentionally not putting a Band-Aid on a very deep third-degree burn or like a very big wound. We could have gone out a quarterback. Exactly. Yeah. Like we could have gone out and gone after Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, and I think either of those two guys right now would help us to win more games this year. But by not bringing them in, we can still have the locker room sold on us trying to win and us giving Drew Lock a second chance. We're going to run the ball now more than we have in this entire era. And that's saying a lot considering that we had the top run game in the NFL for years, right? So I say we're just going to focus on running the football. That's going to make games go by a little bit quicker. There's going to be less scoring. We're going to keep opposing quarterbacks off the field a little bit more. The scores aren't going to look as ugly. And it's going to be we're going to lose close games that go by in less than 3.5 hours. But we're not saying that we're trying to lose. We just didn't bring in the best personnel to win right now.
See, but I'm glad they didn't draft a quarterback last year. Why would you draft a quarterback if you don't think the future is in that draft class? I mean, we all know it's a weak quarterback class.
Yeah, I would have taken Pickett. If I had a chance to take Kenny Pickett, I would have taken him in a heartbeat. I mean, he's going to be a franchise quarterback, that kid. He's poised. He knows what he's doing. He's got football sense. He's well groomed, well trained. The only thing that was with Pickett was the question of was somebody going to take him before the Steelers, or were the Steelers going to pass on him because they had something better in mind? But I don't think there was anything better, to be honest, with the quarterback wise, and they needed a quarterback. And that leads me to believe that there may be more to Drew Lock than we're seeing. I mean, the coaches may see something in him that we don't. I'm not convinced of that, but I'm just saying that maybe they see something that we don't. I wouldn't put a lot of money on that theory, but I think that's entirely. Now, they may be wrong, and we might be right. But I think I will still stick with what the coaches look at and see in these guys until they prove me otherwise.
I want to try a little exercise here. I've got the Seahawks schedule in front of me. All right.
Oh.
And Squabo, I know you've already gone through and done your breakdown, so you can see it on your channel.
You want me to exercise? You scared me. Oh, don't do that.
I'm just gonna read. Let's go through the games and I'm going to say the team, and you just say win or lose, and keep track of your own if you can, and let's just see what we come up with. And people watching, you guys could do the same thing. We all do this. We've probably already done it already.
Usually the game before the season starts, but okay.
And it just means nothing, of course, because we don't know anything about this team. But hey, it's always fun to just speculate. All right, real quick. Game 1 versus Russell Wilson and the Broncos.
I think that's a win.
Win.
That's a win. I think we are an emotionally charged team at that point, and I think Pete Carroll is at this point, gone to extreme measures to bring the juice, and we will go out there and it'll be a ugly, close game. It'll come down to some last fourth down play where Russell Wilson has to do something miraculous, and we will all celebrate like we just won the Super Bowl. Because
what's the over under on sacks on Russell? Over under.
Well, half the defense wasn't even there.
That's true.
Yeah, but we got a whole bunch of pass rushers in there. New 3-4 type scheme.
3.5.
Our defense is going to be way better than people think it is. I'll tell you.
I agree.
Okay, there you go.
If
I'm going to say
this is our Super
And I
Bowl.
think our running game is going to be better than people think. I'm sorry Carson's leaving, but
it's going to have to be.
the new guy
It's gonna
I'm
have
with
to be.
Mark.
damn good.
I'm with Mark. Ken Walker.
Yeah,
18
I'm
touchdowns,
real high on
69
Ken
yards.
Walker. I think Ken Walker. I knew this was going to happen. That Chris Carson was going to be gone. Sadly, I'm sure most of us did.
You put a good game manager on there. I say 10-7. I don't care what you guys agree.
You went from 17-0 to 10-7. It's Mark with 10-7. I'd like to know where those 10 games are coming from. We're going to find out in a second. So keep track of your score here. So we'll try to do this real quick. All right. So actually, Vinnie, you didn't say win or lose against Broncos.
Oh, I'm going to go
Did you?
win. Yeah.
Okay. So keep track of your own. Let's just see where we come out here.
Okay.
At San Francisco, week 2.
That's a
I'm gonna
close
go with a
one.
win.
That's a close one, but I'm gonna have to say we lose that one. It's
all
really
right.
close, but I just don't see it happening.
I think we'll be hot coming off the first win. It'll be they'll be charged up. They'll go down there and beat them.
Yeah.
Vinny, the eternal optimist.
Especially if Garoppolo is our quarterback at that point.
Garoppolo, San
changes
Francisco
things.
went and said, we are moving on from Garoppolo.
That's what I'm
They're
saying.
done. Right?
If
And you say
Garoppolo is our quarterback,
is our quarterback? We'd be crazy to pick up Garoppolo with that $25 million salary hit
Well, I know
for
we would.
this year.
what?
Unless he just
crazy
gets cast aside and he's just a free agent, they just let him walk, and then maybe we give him a shot. But
There you go.
I don't know. Garoppolo's not the answer either. So
No, I don't
If
think
we-
so.
all right. So week 3, home versus Atlanta.
That's a win.
Win.
Atlanta doesn't have a good quarterback, I would say. I mean,
I'm going to say we get trapped, and that's the first loss of the year. That's a
By the way,
trap
I've
game.
got
off
an
the
Atlanta
big
YouTuber, my friend David, Sports Live in the ATL. He's coming to visit on that game, and I'm going to be hosting him, taking a tour of the city, and we're going to be sitting, watch that game side by side. So we have to win that game. Otherwise, I'm going to have egg on my face
And
with
the
that guy.
players are gonna
Cannot
be
lose to
confused
him.
Because in Atlanta Stadium, you get all the free Cokes you can drink and all the popcorn you can eat. So they're going to come here and see like $11 for a Coke, and they're going to collapse.
Is that for real?
No,
I know
it
it's the
is-
Coke
it is
capital
for
of the
real.
world.
It is for
Wow.
real.
I need to go see a game down there just for the free Coke and popcorn.
They have some pretty cheap concessions.
Is
I-
it the hot
I read
dogs
an
and
article.
the popcorn are free? Or maybe it's just the popcorn. But all
I don't
the
know.
Coke you can drink.
Wow. Well, they grow it there, right? So no skin off their back. All right. So week 4, we're at the scene of the crime where the refs ripped us off at Detroit.
That's a win. I'll be at that. I'll probably be at that game at some point. You better come down, Norb.
Squabo says we lose to Jared Goff. Is Jared Goff still the quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Detroit is
Okay.
an unbelievably inconsistent team. Like I can imagine us going in there and either having
They-
like
they-
the craziest
they
game
were-
ever or steamrolling them.
They
for some
should have been better than they were. They had the worst
Exactly.
luck of any team last year, right? They lost on a 66 or whatever yard field goal, fluky kick that bounced off the crossbar and went in. I
know
mean,
when
that's
you
the
go
kind of
with-
season they had.
When you
I'm gonna
go
go out
into
But that's
Ford
Detroit.
Field, that's what it says on the archway in. We should have been better than we are.
That's so true.
Instead of play like a champion, it says we should have been better.
I'm the only
Yeah.
one that probably the only one that thinks this, but Detroit could have been a playoff caliber team with all the amount of games that they've lost and the amount of games they've gone into the final possession leading and given up these game-winning touchdowns or messing up in the final second. They could have had quite a lot of
They
wins.
had the makings of a much better record if they didn't coog it at the end. Oh, did I just say that?
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
oh, shots
Okay.
fired.
Oh, wait a second.
I
Hang
think
on, brother.
I think you're gonna have to reserve the Coug jokes until you pay off your Coug bet.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Oh,
I do owe you, man. One of these days when we get together. All right, keeping this drill going. Week 5 at New Orleans.
Ooh,
Loss.
that's a
We have
tough
not had
game.
any luck with New Orleans. We don't win.
Yeah.
I think the Super. Are they still called the Superdome? It's a different sponsor now. Oh, it's that
Mercedes-Benz.
Caesars. No, they
Oh, it's the
changed it. I was just there.
Mercedes-Benz Dome.
No. Mercedes-Benz is the Atlanta stadium. I was just there in New Orleans. It's now the Caesars Palace. It's the Caesars that game that betting Caesars thing. It's the Caesars something
Caesar
dome
Salad
now.
Dome, did you say?
Whatever that Caesar Sportsbook. It's Caesars
Salad
now.
Bowl.
I was like,
Okay.
yeah. Whatever they call it, it doesn't matter. We're gonna lose. We can't
No,
beat New
we're gonna-
Orleans. We
we're-
can't beat them
we're
at
gonna
home
win.
anymore.
We're gonna win. We're gonna win.
You think they're gonna win? Okay,
We're
all
gonna
right.
win. Their
This
defense
guy's is
washed.
going undefeated.
The last time we
We're
played
4-1
down there,
in my
we
book
went
right
down
now.
there. We were supposed to win that game in last.
Yeah.
We should have won that game. Yes, we should have won that game. A
we
lot of
had to
shouldas
fly-
in this.
And you made me fly home and sleep in airports.
Yeah, me and Mark. The last away game we went to was going to New Orleans, and we watched the Seahawks lose to New Orleans.
Yeah,
We had a
yes.
great seafood dinner on the first night, though. That made it all worth it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that game sucked, and the flight home sucked too.
That was a sad game.
Anytime you lose, the flights suck, no matter how bad it is. But if you win, I don't think it matters whether you're sleeping on the floor of an airport or not. Okay, all right. So then we go and play the team with the newly crowned $250 million quarterback, the Arizona Cardinals, at home.
At home.
Down there?
We
That
lose.
No, at home.
Here at
Oh,
Lumen.
here or there?
That's a loss.
No, we play them
At
at
home
here in
would be
Lumen.
here.
At Lumen?
Yes,
That's
our home, our house.
That's a
That's
game.
That's
That's
a
a
win.
that's a game where I can imagine it's raining and it's sloppy, and the Seahawks, whenever it rains for some reason in Seattle, it just the Seahawks some games when it rains
We
they
stunk
just
it
come
up
out-
bad.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray didn't even play against us. We
Isn't
didn't
that
play the
amazing
$250 million.
Seahawks can't play in the rain. I mean, we can't. The Seahawks can't play in the rain, and we can't build a roof that doesn't leak in Seattle. I don't know what the hell it is.
All right, I hope you guys can keep it track. All right, then we're at the Rams.
Loss.
I think we all know what that looks like.
Yeah.
Watch, that'll be like the one game we win this year. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, that'd be pretty funny. I think
That's
it's
seven?
close. Yeah, I think we're at 7.
Norb, that's 7?
That's 7
1, 2,
so
3,
far.
4, 5, 6. That's the 7th game. Yes. Then we're back home against the Giants.
That's a win. That's
I think we can win that game.
We should
I think
win that game.
I think we should win that game, but it's gonna be closer than people think it is.
Yeah, we should win that game.
No, in Seattle, they're gonna be like, oh, everybody's gonna say we'll win at 30-something, nothing, and no, it's gonna end up being like 16.
I
I'm
think-
real curious to see what your records come out to, because it's easy to say, we'll be 7-10, we'll be 4-13, you do this little exercise and you go, wow, That came out different than I thought. But
Norb, are we sure? Just double check, because what I had written down was we didn't play the Rams, we played the Chargers first.
oh, I'm sorry. That's the Chargers. My bad.
Either way, it's a
That's the
loss.
Chargers.
It's
Wrong
a
Los
loss.
Angeles team. My bad. You're right. The Chargers.
still
Thank
a
you.
loss.
I sit corrected.
loss.
Chargers.
Still a loss.
Same result.
No, you know what? I'm going to change it. I'll go with a win against the Chargers.
Oh, Vinny. Oh, positive Vinny over here.
I'm going to be positive, Vinny. I'll take a win against the Chargers.
All right, so then it's home against New York, against the Giants, and then we're at Kyler Murray in Arizona.
Now I think this game we may have a chance.
We do better in that
We
stadium.
do play better in that stadium, not kicking wise, but we do play better.
Not injury-wise, that's for sure. You know, this is the one stadium that has injured and ended the careers of more Seahawks in recent years than any other stadium.
Just awful, terrible.
Earl
stadium.
Thomas,
in the
Cam
side of the
Chancellor,
Super Bowl.
Richard Sherman.
They all
terrible
got
place.
hurt.
That weird roof, man.
Yeah,
And of course, the worst crime of all that me and Mark had to watch in person. We won't talk about that. Okay, so then we're over to the far side of the globe for the first game in NFL history in Germany to face Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I know this sounds real stupid, but the Seahawks prepare so much better than any other team when they travel completely across the country. And you see when they come and they play these 10 o'clock games that they play incredibly well. They play so well. And when we played in Europe against the Raiders, we just came out and we just like smoked them. And
That was that was a home game.
Yeah.
I was at that game too, by the way. It finally ended my losing streak of being at away games because I had lost like 6 in a row or something like that. Finally got a win.
7.
So
and that wasn't
Seven in a row.
that
You
wasn't
lost 7 in a row.
yeah.
7. Okay, thanks, Mark. Appreciate
That
Any
that.
chance
wasn't-
that any
You were,
chance
you were
that
supposed
Brady
to be
retires
banned from
before
going
that
to
game
away
again?
game.
We'll see.
I'm-
That wasn't an away game, by the way. That was a home game for the Seahawks. The end
It-
zones were just painted in Raiders colors.
It was technically an away game, but the crowd was all. Oh, sorry, it was technically a home game for the Raiders. It was all Seahawks fans in there, though. And I think it'll be the same. I think it'll be the same in Germany because Germany loves Seahawks, man.
Yeah.
They have some of the biggest.
Can't wait for Germany.
There's a good chance that there's going to be a lot of blue and green. I think the Seahawks go in there and they kind of mess with the Buccaneers and maybe give them a little trouble. I think that's one of the games that I'm most excited about. Probably pretty close to the Broncos game that I'm pretty confident we can win for some reason.
All right, well, we'll see. Then we have the bye. Then
I
we
got
play
a
the Raiders at home.
That's an L. Devontae Adams is going to
Devontae
crush
freaking
us.
Adams.
That's another one of those games. Where
Then we have
That's the loss.
Then we have fun this time going to face the Los Angeles Rams, the current Super Bowl champions.
Is that Alexa? I hear Alexa.
So quiet. Yeah, she's announcing a super chat. Anthony D with the super chat. Nora put Olivia Holt's history song on a L. Oh, okay. He's the president of the Olivia Holt Club and wants this song in my prediction video. Apparently on a loss, which we'll have a lot to choose from. Apparently, the way things are going. All right. So then we got the Panthers at home. Who's the quarterback for the Panthers now?
Mayfield.
Baker.
It's Baker. That's right, Baker. Baker. The everybody
And
thought
Sam
Baker was
Darnold.
coming here.
No,
I
I
was not
can-
rooting for that.
I can imagine the Panthers going on this drive to win the game, and knowing Baker, he's just going to make a stupid play, and for some reason we're going to win that game.
I think we'll win too. I have no reason to think that.
Yeah.
I just, we've lost 3 in a row in my book at this point. We got to get a win somewhere, so we're going to beat Carolina.
He'll be injured by that game and won't play.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
he'll be injured and try to be the alpha and be like, I can play. Oh.
The newly released Geno Smith will be the quarterback of the Panthers for that game, and take
The
a playbook
newly
with
released.
them.
Wow. Okay. So then we have our second and only the number 2 primetime game of the season against the Niners at home. So back-to-back home games.
That's a win,
Do we get it done?
Win.
man.
It's a very good defense, but questionable. I'm not a Trey Lance fan. I'm not impressed with what he's done so far. Garoppolo has been the best thing they've had, which is not saying much. So
We're the best team. We're the best team on prime time, pretty much. We're pretty good at playing.
you're talking about the team from like 4 or 5 years. Hasn't been the case so much recently, but well, who knows? They might get that matchup back. All right, 3 more games to go.
I say they go 2-0 with the Niners this year.
3 more games to go. Then we are at Christmas Eve at Kansas City.
Hey, adios. This is either going to be a nasty blowout or like one of those games where Kansas City will keep it close and like towards the end of the fourth quarter they'll pull away, kind of like Green Bay. When we play Green Bay, they'll just pull away, and you'll have so much hope going into that final 15 minutes. So we can beat them, maybe. No. Patrick Mahomes will do something crazy, and
they don't have the cheetah anymore.
They don't.
They do have. They got what's his name?
They got Kermit the Frog.
They got from Green Bay.
Juju, MVS.
Yeah, they got weapons.
TikTok guy.
Freaking weapons.
TikTok guy.
They got Sky Moore as well.
All right, 2 more games to go. Then we're back home New Year's Day against the Jets.
Win.
Squabo, man. Squabo's got this mapped out, and it's not good.
They actually, the Jets come in, and they announce as they're flying cross country that they're going to bring back Joe Namath for 1 more game.
To do the coin toss?
No, to sell insurance. He's going to be
the premature coin toss.
Yeah.
That coin toss is awesome. Came out in that big fur coat.
Goldberg are going to stand on the sidelines. If they don't beat the Jets, then they shouldn't even play the last game.
Which the last game is not going to be good because it's going to be hosting the Rams.
Oh, what if the Rams are that good at that point that they're resting starters and maybe we just, sneak away?
Aaron Donald sits. Cooper Kupp sits.
Knowing them, no, they won't do that.
No, they're going to stick it to us.
They'll run it all over.
I'm going out.
All right.
Win.
Wow, you're going to go with the win.
At home.
Mark Collins.
Okay.
I say a win too.
It's been a while, man.
I said
well, again, I think they're going to be resting people too.
The resting people is a distinct possibility at that point.
That is true. That's true. It's sad to think that that's how we get a win. Well, they might be resting their starters. Hey, we'll take it.
Guess what? It came out exactly what I said. 10-7.
Is that what you got?
That's what I got.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
all
I think I have to say.
Newest Sags of the Super Chat says, ain't beating Goat Brady will destroy Seattle like Super Bowl 49. He didn't destroy us. He didn't destroy us in Super Bowl 49. We destroyed ourselves. What are you talking about? We should have won that game. Destroyed in Super Bowl 49. Nobody destroyed us. Give me a break. Sorry, man. Don't agree. All right, so what's everybody's record? Mark says he got 10-7 before this little exercise, and he's got 10-7 again.
What'd you get, Norb?
Sky-High, what'd you get?
What'd you get, Norb?
I'm waiting for last. I'm going to go last.
Oh, okay. I got 8 wins and 9 losses. We dropped the last 3 games of the year in my books, so.
But we already know what Noah's.
But we did start off. Yeah, but we did start off 4-1, which is really interesting. After that, we lose 2 games, win 2, lose 2, win 2, and then lose the final 3.
Vinny, what'd you get?
I got 10-7. We go out with 2 wins, and the 10-7 do we make a wild card?
The 7th seed.
7, you got to make a wild card and then probably get blown out in a wild card.
There you go.
One and done. So it's interesting. So Mark and you, Vinny, got 10-7. The silver fox in the group, if I don't mind saying that. The guys who've been around the longest had the Seahawks at 10-7. Sky-High and me, the 2 brownest guys in this panel, both got 8-9. Both have 8-9. I got 8-9 as well. And Squabo, the lone wolf, 5-12. Is that 5-12? Sticking with that?
5-12. Oh
yeah.
Boy.
Yeah.
The only thing I can say, Noah, is if you're right, I'll be like, yes, draft pick. Here we go. Right?
I'm all about the draft next year. I'm thinking about C.J. Stroud. I'm thinking about Bryce Young.
I still think we'll be able to trade up in the draft with the 8-9 record.
We need a center. We need a center too, so we can't give up all our picks. So we need a center, we need a quarterback, we need a cornerback.
We got a center. Our center that we just picked up, no good.
Here's the backup for the Chiefs. He was good a year
Draft
ago.
the center?
We did not draft the
The
center.
didn't we?
No, I thought he
No, we
didn't he
didn't.
play
We
with the
signed-
Rams at one point?
Yeah,
A couple years back.
Yeah, a couple years back. Anyway,
He's on
so
the decline.
all you guys, you've already been doing this, but continue to post your own records. I'm seeing everybody from Kevin
geez.
Yang 4-13, Seahawks Cindy 6-11, Sheck 11-6, 6-11, 15-2. Wow, what are you smoking? Mario 12-5. Let's see what else we got here. 11-6. We got that 1-16. Dang.
Okay.
I hope that one is against the Broncos.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Well, I tell you what, if they go 15-2, we should chip in and take that guy out to dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There
no
you go.
kidding.
Yeah, and Matt's
be
hot
crazy.
dogs, but we should take him out to dinner.
Well, no, if we go 15-2, it's on me.
There you go. 'Cause Squabo
More
would've been
steaks.
More
stakes to bet. All right, so talking a little bit about this quarterback thing, right? So obviously, I don't think the Seahawks are going to make any moves. I think it's been very clear that they're just going to roll with what they got. The question is, who should they put out there? I'm just going to read some numbers out. They're very basic numbers. The most important one, though, here is, I think, the touchdown to interception ratio. Drew Lock, 25 touchdowns, 20 interceptions.
Yikes.
Geno Smith, 34 touchdowns, 37 interceptions. That's
your guy.
career. That's what we got. We got basically two guys who throw as many touchdowns as interceptions. Coming from a Russell Wilson whose touchdown to interception ratio was what, like 10-1?
Well, see, I don't know how we can figure that out without none of these guys have been starters. Geno's had a couple of licks at being a starter. The only time Geno was a starter, he tanked it, right, in New York. I don't, I think it's impossible at this point to tell who's going to do what as far as quarterback. I think it's an open competition, which I think is good because it's going to make people step up, going to make them play maybe a little bit better, a little more. But I don't know how we can figure out who, just looking at stats, because both of these guys are fairly unproven, with actually Geno being the less proven of the two, because every time he's been given a chance to start, it hasn't been pretty, right?
That's
Right.
true. Completely true.
So the question is, has there ever been a quarterback that's gone from being in these guys' positions, basically kind of backups or failed startings with bad situations, to where they were given a second chance and suddenly, boom, wow, where's this guy been all this time? The only thing I could think of is Drew Brees, right? Drew Brees started with the Chargers, and then he goes to the Saints, and then he becomes a Hall of Famer, right? And Cameron Hughes, in sync with me,
Right.
agrees with that. But is there
Who's
anyone
the
else where you
guy
could
from
bring this story
Philadelphia
up as
a couple of-
comparison?
Who was the guy that was the Super Bowl MVP in Philadelphia?
Foles.
Nick
Yeah, where
Foles.
was- Yeah, Foles. Where was he before that?
Bouncing
All
around
over the
between
place.
teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
They
he
made a
bounced
statue
around.
of him.
Yeah.
They made a statue of him in Philly, man, for the Philly special. There's a statue
I kind of feel bad
of
for
Nick
Carson
Foles.
Wentz.
Of
Feel
course.
bad for Carson Wentz at that point, because that was his team. At the they were cruising. and they
The
were gonna
problem
make
with him,
the
and,
Super Bowl
the problem
anyway.
is still with Carson Wentz, is he doesn't know how to. He does the opposite of Russell Wilson, right? Russell Wilson, for the most part, knows how to protect himself and not take that bad hit. The finger being the weird exception to that. But Carson Wentz was always diving, always running into, not sliding. He doesn't know how to slide, and he paid the price for it.
Right.
I'm sorry,
Kurt
man. I don't feel bad
Winnick
for him. That was his own fault. He should have
Kurt
protected
Winnick
himself.
is another guy like that. Was floating around. Was what with the Rams? How long? Went down to Arizona. Wins the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Who are we talking about?
You got Kurt Warner.
Kurt with a K.
Oh, Warner. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
He didn't win a Super Bowl in Arizona.
He
Oh,
played.
he
He
won-
should have won.
He should have won.
Another
yeah.
should have
He won-
story.
Right. He won.
If not for what's his name picking him off at the end of the first
Vince
half,
Harrison.
they would have won the Super Bowl. Harrison, yeah.
You guys
That
are
crazy
missing,
play.
You guys are missing a completely obvious name that I think I'm shocked that no one has
Well,
actually
I was
named
going to
yet.
say Russell Wilson, right? Didn't
Well,
he?
no-
But he didn't.
We got to name the guy who is responsible for taking us to our first Super Bowl ever, and that
Yeah.
is Matt Hasselbeck, right there. because Matt Hasselbeck started off with the Packers in
With Green
1998,
Bay,
and it took him a few years to get his job because Brett Favre had been there this whole time. And as soon as he came on the scene, he just took over right then and there. And Mike Holmgren pretty much fixed him up into a pretty good starting quarterback right there. I'm surprised he hasn't been named yet.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah,
He did leave one situation and did better in another. So who knows? That could be the case. That sure would complicate things if suddenly Drew Lock became
It
this,
won't.
you know,
I think that's
suddenly
what
star.
the John Schneider is counting on that happens. I'm not so confident that it will, but you don't know at this point. Talk to me 3 weeks from now after the first exhibition game. Let's see what both of these guys can do. Maybe even after the second. Try to get a better feel for who's doing what in camp, who's getting the reps. All of that kind of stuff. And again, is somebody going to become loose in training that they may be able to pick up?
I think there's an actual real possibility that this could work because they're going to try and make this offense, I think, as carefree and as easy to, maneuver as possible for Drew Lock. They're going to make it easy. All you got to do is 55 to 60% of the time, hand the ball off to running back. You're going to pass it to a running back. You're going to pass it to two guys. You're going to be able to pass it to two guys that have been proven to be number ones in the National Football League. We're going to be, instead of having you stand in the pocket, we're going to get you play action where you're going to roll out. You're going to hit tight ends. You're going to hit big guys out here outside the pocket. They're going to try and make this offense as easy to maneuver as possible. So it kind of looks like, maybe any quarterback could do it. It's just a filler, but they're trying to also play to Drew Lock's strength.
Cowboys in the 90s made a living doing that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Hand it to Emmett, hand it to Emmett, hand it to Emmett. You don't
have to have the best quarterback, but
they had a great offensive line too, though.
They did,
but the best.
I would say that it's a possibility that they're going to roll Drew Lock out often, off to the right and to the left, and they're going to make these easy passes for him. And once in a while, they'll ask him to do something like throw the ball 60 yards down the field or stand in the pocket for a couple seconds and make this tight throw. So they're going to make it as easy as possible. When they don't feel like it's a good scenario for them to pass, they'll just hand the ball off to two guys who should be getting quick yardage.
How important will the tight ends be in this scheme? We haven't talked about that too much. And
I think
they
will be. I think they will be important, and I think they'll be used more often than they had been. And I do think there is a reality when you have two guys, both Geno Smith and Drew Lock. Drew is 6'4", Geno's 6'3". Russell, we know, is 5'10" and 3/8 or whatever, 3/4. I do think there's some reality to the fact that he's shorter, that he doesn't see some of those lanes that I think taller quarterbacks do. And for that reason, didn't utilize the tight ends as much. Right. Because that's the one thing, as great as Russell Wilson has been, there's two things that I thought was missing from his game he never developed. One was a good screen game. We never got the screen game going. I don't know whose fault that is. It never, ever developed. And secondly was that tight end relationship, right? All the great quarterbacks, whether it's Mahomes, Kelsey, or whatever, you got so many of these guys, Brady and Gronk.
Yeah.
The tight end is like that.
It was amazing.
There's always that one guy who's like, when all else fails, just hit your tight end and get the first down, right? And we never quite had the guy, who I know they brought in
Graham. It was supposed
Graham.
to be.
He was supposed to be that, and he did have some pretty decent numbers, but it never was quite it was never the Breeze Graham combination, which I think they wanted it to be that.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that we may get more use out of the tight ends, in this scheme that we just haven't seen. So I think we'll see a facet that we didn't see with Russell Wilson.
Yeah. I think we're going to see a completely something that we haven't seen in a long time. I think this is going to look more like, maybe I'm wrong here, more like a Mike Holmgren offense. When it's all said and done, West Coast short passes, hit the tight ends, move the ball 10, move it up like that instead of going for the gold on once in a while you shoot it out. But I still think this is going to be an offense of attrition, moving up the field.
That's not going to make Noah Fant happy, though. I know that for a fact, because Noah Fant came out when he got traded. He was speaking to, I forget what the radio station was in Denver, but he said that he felt his deep ball game was underutilized. Like, he wants to get down the field, he wants to use his speed, and that it was extremely underutilized. I feel for Noah Fant because he's been stuck with Drew Lock his entire career, and so like that's where I feel bad for him. I do think one thing that Drew Lock does that Russell Wilson didn't do was attack the seams, and that's what I'm looking forward to. Like, we sent Noah Fant on a vertical through the seam. We got Tyler and DK on either side. We're running 22 personnel, 12 personnel, however we want to do it. We have the personnel for that. Now, when it comes to who we should start at quarterback, I think there's a likely answer and I think there's a right answer. The likely answer is Geno Smith because he's been here if he can get past the DUI thing, right? But I have one condition for my following statement, and it's that Geno Smith doesn't have a renaissance of a training camp that will undoubtedly revive his career and guarantee him to guide this talented roster to a winning record at the very least. So unless that happens, which I don't think is going to happen, it sure as heck better be Drew Lock, and here's why. We traded Russell Wilson, and ever since then, Pete Carroll has made it abundantly clear that Lock is the guy Seattle envisions starting. Even if he says it's an open competition, he indirectly says that Lock is the guy that we are looking to and we want to make him our starter. Pete Carroll has referred to Lock as better than everyone thinks, aka the media and fan base's perception, the top quarterback prospect if he were in this year's draft, and a standing example of everything they saw and loved from him fresh out of college when he came from Mizzou. So not only that, but he was a huge part, Drew Lock was, of the deal for Russell Wilson. You know, just the best franchise quarterback in Seahawks history. A part of that deal that I'm not in love with, and I wish we could have gotten more draft capital instead of bringing in a Drew Lock. So if Lock isn't ready by week 1, it makes Pete Carroll look even more out of touch than when he traded Russell Wilson. But even worse, it makes it look once again like Norb's biggest fear, that Pete Carroll is lying to the fan base once again. Before Russell Wilson was traded, Pete Carroll made it seem like Russell Wilson would never be traded. Now he's making it look like Lock will be the starter. So I really hope he isn't lying to us again. For Pete's relationship with the 12th man, I recommend starting Drew Lock.
God, I love you, Squabo.
Yeah, no, it's hard to argue with your points, man. I mean, I hope that it's Drew Lock, to be honest with you. I just know, I mean, I saw Geno Smith from West Virginia all the way through, and okay. You know,
he made like the West Virginia Hall of Fame for the school or something. I heard recently.
It ain't
so
hard
you know.
to make the West Virginia Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Come on.
Man, talk about stealing somebody's thunder. My buddy Pat Spavota's in the house. Pat, what's going on, man? Thanks for tuning into the show. I've been sitting with this guy since the Kingdom. I've been sitting with Pat since the Kingdom days, man. That's how far we go back. I know that Mark goes back even farther than that, but that just shows his age. Anyway, but yeah, I'm with you, man. I feel like you said, I think Geno Smith makes the most sense to do, but I feel like it's kind of like this, right? We know what Geno is. We don't know what Drew has. And I feel like, you know, Geno's the girl that, you know, you kind of been with her for a while and you kind of know what your comfortable relationship. And then there's this other one where you go, she could be like really, really marriage material, or she could be psycho. I'm not quite sure, but you know, the upside is much higher. So since we're in this situation, you go with kind of comfortable, I know what I got, or kind of take a chance that, hey, she might just be like, you know, the creme de la creme of women.
You always got to go with the crazy one.
You got to go with the crazy, because you also know that the following year there's going to be a whole bunch of new incoming gals who you can choose from. So yeah, you got nothing to lose if it falls apart on you.
3 times. You got to go with the crazy one.
If it doesn't work out,
great sound advice there, Vinnie.
Check out my new
Sky High. I hope you're taking
Relationship.
Sky High and Noah, the 2 single guys. I guess the 2 yet to be, you know, married guys in here. You know, I hope you're learning a lot from this. You know, these analogies to football all make complete, perfect sense.
I hope I understand.
Take it from us.
There's a video out about the crazy line. I don't know. Vinny's probably seen it. The guy,
Oh, it's a graph. It's a graph, right?
Yeah.
Something about
yeah.
the relationship of crazy to something. I remember you showed me that a while
Vinny,
ago.
you haven't seen that, Vinny?
No, I don't think I don't spend that much time on
the guy
YouTube.
goes through the whole thing. It's like, you know,
It's
I
like
got
an economics
better than this. I got
class,
life
but about
experience.
women.
Oh my God.
Oh, the math, the science of
Hey,
love.
Yeah, the science of
I-
women,
I
relationship
highly
of like
recommend
crazy
you
to something
watch
else.
that because it is very true.
I've dated a number of cougar women, so I know what crazy is.
Oh, so you're familiar with Wazoo?
White?
Oh, that kind of cougar. Never mind.
No. I'm talking about Wazoo, man.
Okay, all right. So anyway, anyone else feel like Geno should be the quarterback? I think it seems like everyone's. Let's just see what we got in Drew.
I think it's time to see what we got in Drew. I think we
So I
saw
think we all
kind of we got
agree.
a preview of what Geno could be last year, and like I wasn't too happy, especially in that second game with the Saints. It really should have been a winnable game, but we just kept sputtering in and out of like control, and it was an awful game. The defense played great, right? Because the defense was pretty good, but you know, Geno, just to see Geno, you know, make those decisions and some of the mistakes, and it really just didn't, you know, feel right. I feel like Drew Lock would be more of an energetic guy as well. He'd be
I've
more of
never
a guy that
seen
would.
Geno run an offense worked a lot successfully. I mean, you're either going to have an offense that has older veterans in it, and I don't know that they're going to respect him. We're going to have an offense that has young guys in it, and I don't know that he's that kind of guy. You know, that they can take those young people and say, go here, do this, do that. I just don't see it in Geno. Decent backup if somebody gets hurt, good to put out there. But again, let's see what happens in camp.
And I
Maybe
think
he
Geno,
learns.
I think Geno limits the offensive playbook that we have as well. I think Drew Lock, because of his repertoire, his arm, his kind of mobility, from what I've seen, it opens up the playbook a bit more for him. Geno's kind of that guy who's going to stay in the pocket. He's going to, move around. I feel bad for him because he's been here for a while. He's kind of been trying to grind back into that starting position, but he's never really gotten to that point where he can get to the next level. And I think it's just past that point where he can't get to that point.
It's tough because if you look at last year, we talked about the Detroit Lions that, they were so close. The Seahawks, if you look back at all those games, we should have won at least 5 or 6 of those games, and that would have put us in playoff contention.
That's the story of
right?
Pete Carroll right there. That is the story of Pete Carroll's coaching career with Seattle. One mistake for every single, almost 95%. I've told this to you, Norb, before, and I don't know if you remember it, but 95% of the losses that have come under Pete Carroll, the 5% exclude the blowout. Those are the blowouts. 95% of those losses come within 1 to 2 possessions and have come from one single flaw or mistake made on the football field.
Well, there's a reason for that too, though, because for the longest time, the Seahawks weren't blowing anybody out, and we weren't getting blown out. So when your margin is raised, it's like the Mariners, right? How many one-run games do they have to keep winning? So when it comes down to that, where you're just like this much, one mistake is going to decide what happens in that game, right?
There were so many games where I would walk up out leaving the TV room, and I would be so mad because I knew that we were so close to just winning. There were so many seasons where we could have had 13, 14, 15 wins, and it was just because some silly, stupid mistake was made in the end. Like one game, for example, we played the Rams when they came back to LA. It was like a 9-6 game. It was really ugly. Final play, one of the final plays of the game, Christian Michael fumbles the ball. I mean, of all things, it felt like we were going to go down there and drive and at least tie the game, if not win the game. Fumbles the ball. The Saints game later that year, curse, out of bounds, couldn't get those feet down.
We could definitely go on and what could have been. But I think what could have been here is talking about Geno Smith. He had 3 games, really 4 if you include the Rams game where he came in for Russell. He had a chance to win all of those games. And the Saints game, I almost give him a pass because if the kicker makes 2 field goals and he missed, we do win that game because we lost the game 13-10. But Geno had the ball in his hands in almost every one of those games to to sort of take it down and do a Russell Wilson type of ball in your hand, let's win the game. Happened against the Steelers. Then he got T.J. Watt, knocked the ball out of his hand, fumbled, game over. Against the Saints, he had the ball in his hand, got sacked like twice in a row. Then it was like 4th and 27 from their 1 yard line. Nothing happened in that drive. We did beat the who was it? The Jaguars, which would throw a beautiful back shoulder fade to DK. That was a thing of beauty. Against the Rams, though, we had a chance to win that game. He did score, take him down for a touchdown, which we were all like, "Oh my God, Gino!"
And that was partly the adrenaline coming in.
Well, they were also playing prevent. They were playing prevent too, so they're giving him all the underneath stuff. But how did it end? He throws an interception. Yeah, Lockett kind of got tangled up with the defender, but he throws this terrible interception, just ended the comeback right there. So, I don't know. You could look at it as, well, he's kept us close. Or you could look at him as, well, he just gets you enough to where he can almost win, and then he can't deliver one time. And so, I think we know what that is. I'd like to see what Drew Lock's got. Does he have any magic at all to take this team and win games when the chips are down?
Well,
that's what Russell Wilson built his career on. Like
you said, I mean, a key cog in that trade, he better have something better than Geno Smith. I mean, really, or else, even though you got all those draft picks are certainly unproven players. You had to get at least 1 or 2 proven players out of that trade. And if Locke isn't, then your draft picks all better come to fruition, all better be great. Otherwise, the trade really becomes not a failure, but you gave up a key player, a player that could take you to the Super Bowl for a lot less than you probably could have or should have got for him, right?
I'm saying, I got to shout out.
Hold on a second, Squabo. So Cameron Hughes, I left this comment up, but he basically defended Geno, saying Geno had no running game at all and still put up productive stats, 5 touchdowns to 1 interception. So
that didn't translate. That translated to 1 win, though.
Yeah, the biggest stat, the only stat that matters, unless you're a fantasy player, is the wins.
They win the game.
He could have 25 touchdowns. If they didn't win, they only won 1 out of 4 or 1 out of 5. Then it doesn't, great for Geno Smith, but great for the the bowling alley fantasy league. But this is football, man. This isn't the bowling alley fantasy league.
Squabo, you had something you were going to say there.
Oh, just going along with what kind of Daddy Dennis was talking about in the chat down there. I think in terms of the trade, I think my biggest problem with Drew Lock was that I know, like, 85 to 90% sure that Drew Lock is not going to be a long-term answer at quarterback. So then why would we trade for him? Why couldn't we have turned that into one of those seconds being another first, or getting another pick on top of it? I would have wanted to see us get even more draft capital because, Vinnie, I think you're right. Like, you got to get 2 good starters at least, but I think we got that. I think we got that in Shelby Harris and Noah Fant. I think those are going to be 2 legit guys for us. And then we also, as Daddy Dennis was talking about, we also got the left tackle, Charles Cross, with the 9th pick in the draft. So I think those are our legit starters day one, no matter what. I would have liked to see Drew Lock not in the deal and instead give us another draft pick.
Yeah, well, I would have liked to have seen more. I agree. I felt like we got the short end of the stick with giving up our franchise quarterback. I wanted to see more, but who knows how this deal came together, right? But it is what it is now, right?
It is what
Vinnie?
it is.
Yeah. I mean, listen, when you get to a certain age in life, and Mark will tell you because he's going to be 70 next week, is it, Mark? You can't do anything about what you've done already.
Whoa, Mark! Kids are watching.
Give him
Mark,
the bird.
remember that.
Give him the dirty bird.
Wow. Hey, keep your hands up where we can see him. You can't fix the past. You can only fix the future. You can only change the future. That's what the Seahawks are in right now. They can't fix the draft. It's done already. They can't fix the trade that they made because it's done already. But they can make sure that what they got was good, that they get starting players out of it, and that they move forward with what they got. I don't know. Again, 3 weeks into camp, let's look at the quarterback and see who's doing. Maybe Geno got religion. Maybe there's more here. Like I say, the coaches see things that we don't. That's what we got to count on right now, that they're smarter than us, which I think they probably, I'm thinking that they are, or else we would be, working for a football team.
Yeah. All right, so we are an hour and a half into this show, and I promised you we'd only go an hour. So as usual, you guys made a liar out of me. But time flies when you're having fun. But I do have two things to get on, and then we'll see if we can squeeze a couple Q&As in here. But we're going to make this a quick one. DK Metcalf still unsigned, but he is showing up to training camp, probably because he doesn't want to suffer the penalties for it. Do the Seahawks get a deal done with DK before the season starts, or are we going to have to carry this drama into the season?
I say we do. I say they do.
Mark,
but it's going to cost. It's going to cost $30 million. I don't know if he's worth it.
Not 30.
30.
6 months ago,
we shouldn't pay him $30 million.
That's crazy.
He doesn't deserve $30 million.
Six months. It was 25 6 months ago, but it's gone up since then. Just like gas and everything else.
Has it gone up that much?
Yeah.
I've seen some players sign for less.
That's what I'm being told.
I don't know that he's going to get 30, but I think they'll work something out.
Worst comes to worst, if they don't, they can franchise him, right? I don't know if they want to do that. I'd rather them see him get a deal done. I'd hate the franchise.
Yeah, you want a happy player as opposed to a franchise.
Well, the deal.
Is he going to be there tomorrow?
The deal that we.
He said he would. I heard he's going to report to camp.
No, I've heard he's there
on the street.
But no, if we're gonna get a deal, if we're gonna franchise tag DK, we'd get him right around the range that I want to get that deal done. Anyways, I want to see right in that range of 20, definitely less than 25. 25 is the peak that I would go to. But if we can get him in that 22 range, right around the Terry McLaurins of the world, 20 million, right around the AJ Browns of the world, that would be ideal. What I think is important for us to keep in mind here, according to Over the Cap, DK is currently the 135th highest paid wide receiver in football. That is criminal. So I definitely want to see him get paid. Obviously, that's great for him. But we also need to keep in mind that DK was 28th in receptions and receiving yards last year. That's even with him having the second longest touchdown reception at 84 yards in one play against the Saints, right? So even with all that in mind, he still was 28th in receptions and receiving yards. So I think we cannot overpay him here. But it's important to also keep in mind that the NFL told clubs that this year the salary cap is going up just shy of $26 million to $208 million total. So that salary cap figure is going to keep going up. So we franchise tag him. That's going to put him right around $23 million this year, right? And then we have to give him a new deal down the line, and that's going to look more like that $30 million that Mark is so afraid of. So I think we just give him the deal now. I've also been on record, though, saying that I don't think Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf are going to be here in 3 years. And I think Seattle's going to make the mistake that within the next 3 years, we're going to trade Tyler Lockett instead of DK Metcalf. Now, DK Metcalf last year had 58% catch percentage, right? So 58% of the balls thrown his way, he caught. That's not a good percentage. I like the guy that we can trust on third down, Tyler Lockett, who caught 68%, so 10% better. 1 out of every 10 balls that was thrown to DK Metcalf wasn't caught, whereas to Tyler Lockett it was. And so that's why I'd say keep Tyler Lockett first, but still pay DK.
I think Lockett's the better receiver, but DK could have more upside if he gets his.
He's what 20
game straightened
23?
up. 24,
I think.
24. Yeah, it's got a lot of gas left in the tank, you would think. As opposed to running backs who, when they're 25, it's like, all right, how much time do they have left?
Well, in Chris Carson's case, he made it to 27.
Yeah, I mean, how many running backs have we seen that burn out? 4 or 5 years. That's it.
Yeah, it's I don't know. We probably don't have to talk too much about Chris Carson. I think we all sort of saw this coming, right? I don't think anybody was fooling themselves thinking that he's going to be back and, number one running back. But I thought the guy was great. He just never quite. Injuries is kind of his theme. He just never quite put it together. If it wasn't the neck, it was something that kind of held him back from having, reached that next level of being able to just be available all the time.
He'd been injured.
But I love the way he ran.
He'd been injured pretty much every year, almost of his career. I mean, you think first year he got hurt 4 weeks in. Second year he missed a couple games. Doesn't remember. It's not as remembered because we had a pretty good running game 2018. 2019, he kind of, after we saw what he did in 2019, he really took off, but he still missed a few games. And then 2020, we're expecting this real explosion out of him. And the first few games of the year, we really were excited to see. And then he kind of, continued to play very well. But then we bailed out in the playoffs. In 2021, he just, halfway through the season, at that point, I think, after what Penny did after the year, it's a real crowded room now at the top of the running back room. At that point, you had Carson, you had Walker, you had Dallas, you had Homer, you had all these guys, and one of them had to go. And obviously, it had to be Carson because they're paying him the most money, and he had the biggest injury-prone history. There was a chance that he's not going to get as many carries as he expected to. And there's a chance that, he's going to get hurt while getting those carries. And I think it was for the better for Seattle. And I don't think he was really part of their plan anyway moving forward. They weren't really interested in running a power game. I think Penny can take care of that along with the zone. So really good.
I don't know. I think if he didn't have the neck issue and he had just had another season like he'd had, I think he would have been in that 1 and 2 with Penny. The neck thing just changed everything, unfortunately.
Instead of Ken Walker? Really?
Instead
Walker
of Kenneth...
18 touchdowns, 1,600 yards on the ground.
Well, no. I'm saying they went for Kenneth Walker when they realized Carson had the injury. They knew about the injury before they drafted Kenneth Walker. But if Carson didn't get the neck injury, I don't know if they make that move necessarily.
Okay.
We'll never know because obviously you can't change the past. That's my feeling, is that once they realized this neck thing came up, it was like, we better cover our butts here because this is bad news. And it turned out to be the case.
That's
all right, one last thing here. I just want to find out, we had a pretty interesting draft class. I just want to see, what player are you most interested in seeing? And you kind of let the cat out of the bag. I'm going to say already that Ken Walker, I'm excited about this guy. I had been saying since the beginning when the neck thing came up that Ken Walker was going to be, arguably the best running back in the draft. Highest rated running back in Madden, by the way, in the rookie class. And now he's going to be Rashad Penny and him. And do you really think Rashad Penny's going to go through a whole season healthy? I seriously doubt that. And if they do, they'll probably want to split reps with him. But I think at some point Ken Walker will be the starter. And he will be the guy carrying the ball, the feature running back. I don't know how far it's going to be before Penny's going to have to miss a game or two. But I think I'm excited to see what Ken Walker can do. What about you guys? Any other players, rookies that you're most excited about?
I'm excited about all of them, I think, especially the cornerbacks, Woolen and Bryant. But the guy I'm most excited about, probably the least talked about, Seahawks drafted player. And Cameron's probably been pretty happy when I say this, but Bo Melton. I am super excited to see him play, especially after what I saw the Seahawks post of him literally flying through the air, dunking on someone in a basketball competition at the VMAC. Let me see if I can pull up the video because I could not believe that was Bo Melton because he was flying. He's a pretty big guy. He can jump. I think there's a really good chance that he goes out there and he surprised a lot of people this preseason. And, he goes and plays pretty well with us. I don't know. I'm focused on finding that video and showing that. Let me find it real quick. But it is going. I'm pretty excited to see his game. I think he's a pretty swaggy player. So,
all right. Mark, how about you? Mark, Sky-High's looking for that. Mark or Vinnie, you guys have a particular rookie that you're thinking will have a great impact their first year out?
I want to see what Cross could do because everything happens in the trenches. So hopefully he pans out quickly. And that left tackle's issue, but other than that, Walker, and we'll just have to see. Next man up, as they say.
Just on name,
he's going to start for sure, so he's going to get a shot.
Just on the name alone, don't you really want Kobe Bryant to be a factor somehow, somewhere, just to hear his name yelled out repeatedly?
Yes.
in the from the broadcast booth.
That's what I wanted, Mike Tyson. Remember we got Mike Tyson in 2017? I thought, what a cool name to have to shout it out, and they never quite did. So I think Kobe Bryant will have much bigger impact than Mike Tyson did in the 2017 draft class. But, yeah, I agree. R agrees with you. R says Kobe Bryant. But this guy actually does have skills. So what about you, Squabs?
Oh, well, I mean, Kenneth Walker, I think he's going to be Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think he's a fantasy must-have. The guy that I'm going to say, though, is one that surprisingly nobody's brought up. And he's not the loudest guy on the field, that's for sure. But he's a guy that went to the school that I currently attend. He's a guy that I predicted Seattle would go after in the 3rd round of the draft.
Let's go.
He's a guy that I met in person. And I know for a fact is very down-to-earth. He's one of the most kind-hearted. He's just a great guy. And he's Abraham Lucas, the right tackle out of Washington State. He didn't give up a single sack last year. And he's just one of those guys. He had a spectacular Senior Bowl. I am a little bit biased. I have a bet that he's going to start at least 7 games this year. And so that's for another steak dinner. But I really think he's going to be what we need at the right tackle. Especially considering, it's him versus Jake Curhan. There's a real chance that we have a different right tackle than Abe Lucas, but I think he's a guy that's going to show with his hard work, his pad level and all that stuff, that our right tackle is going to be just as important as our left tackle.
That's good. That's
I
good.
found the video, Norb.
Okay.
I think
now, I'm a little hesitant about videos being played though, because sometimes they've wreaked havoc on live streams for copyright issues.
I don't think it should be an issue. So,
what is this video?
That's Bo Melton posterizing.
Let me blow this up.
Look
Dang.
how high this guy. Let's see it again.
Somebody get your hands.
There.
Somebody get your hands.
Yeah.
Wow.
Put yourself on a wall.
Bo Melton's got some hops.
Yeah.
He's got game. All right. Well, Bo Melton, he's a receiver out of what college did he come from?
Indiana.
I forget.
Oh no.
Anyway, late pick. Yeah, Rutgers. I think you're right. Well, we'll see. These guys might be special teams guys. Who knows? Maybe they'll make those shocking guys who just become a household name that nobody knew when they first came out. Cameron Hughes mentioned the comment. Imagine a secondary with Kobe Bryant, Michael Jackson, and Mike Tyson. No kidding. At one point, all those 3 guys were on the Seahawks roster. Different times. Oh man. Yeah, that is good stuff. So Sky-High, I don't know if you has the link to this StreamYard been put out in Discord yet?
I don't think so.
Why don't you put it out there and just see if there's any people who want to jump in here? I know that Tyler's been begging to try to jump in on the show. I'm going to put this out in the comment. If you want to get to that link, you just got to jump on my Discord, which I just put the link in the chat, discord.gg/Seahawks.
I think we haven't heard anybody mention Gardner Minshew's name at all as far as a possible quarterback for the Seahawks. Wasn't there like a groundswell of people who wanted to see him come here? Or were those just Cougs that were still drunk from the post-Apple Cup celebration?
I think it's the latter.
Yeah, I was thinking so too, but I didn't want to go through an entire show without mentioning Gardner's name.
Well, that was definitely up there when names of quarterbacks that we need to get from other teams. There was Gardner Minshew. There was Baker Mayfield. Who else? There was other players that were out there.
How many people posted on Facebook that the Baker Mayfield deal was done? I mean, remember it was like ridiculous how many people had.
Did any of you guys want that to happen? I didn't.
Hell no.
Did any of you want to see that happen?
Hell, emphatically no.
Yeah, it didn't do a lot for me.
Well, and see, the other thing that I think is interesting, I was looking at quarterback salary. So Geno Smith is the 37th highest paid quarterback in the league, right? What I think is interesting, well, that makes some level of sense. Drew Lock is 56th highest paid quarterback in the league. Both of our quarterbacks are paid more than Jalen Hurts, but Geno Smith is paid more than Lamar Jackson right now. I think that is just criminal.
Really?
But the reason I bring it up is because the last name on the list of all the quarterbacks getting paid in the NFL right now, and I don't know if they just ran out of space on Spot Track or Over the Cap or whatever place I used, Gardner Minshew is the least highest paid quarterback in the NFL right now.
Wow.
That was mind-blowing to me.
He's just a backup, right? Isn't he technically a backup? He's still over he was in Philly, right? Yeah.
There are a lot of no names on that list, though. Like, it went hundreds deep, it felt like.
Yeah. That is crazy about Lamar Jackson, though.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing over there.
That's when you call your agent up and say, hey, you can help me do something for me here. But I don't know. He's had a number of shots, Gardner, right? And
yeah,
has made a hell of a lot. I mean, he had that one half a season where he kind of was the talk of the league, and then all of a sudden it just kind of went away.
It kind of happens to coup quarterbacks, I'd say.
Yeah, ask Ryan Leaf, he'll tell you.
Oh man, boy. That's a terrible story. All right, so we've got a few people on here because we're reaching the end of the show. I want to give some viewers a chance to ask a quick question to the panel or a general question. So hopefully you guys are in the queue. So I'm going to bring you in here, and we're going to try to keep this going fast. So have a question or a comment ready, and we'll try to answer it. So we're going to start up with the one guy who's been hoping to jump on here, and I'm going to bring him on right now. It's Tyler, one of my biggest supporters. I appreciate you, man. So Tyler Parcher, what do you got?
I'm just hanging out.
Keeping cool, I hope, in this 95-degree day that we've had.
Oh, there you go.
Fan on.
Okay, he's got a fan.
Tyler's got set up, man.
He's got Tyler's my fan, but he's got his own fan.
Hey.
What's up?
Norb, since Mark is on here, I kind of want to show this. I have this queued up.
Uh-oh. What's this?
Here it comes.
Oh, he's watching Mama Blue.
Oh, that's from the documentary about the Save Our Seahawks from the Mark Collins perspective. And it's Mama Blue calling the former owner Ken Behring a pompous ass. As he called him.
PG.
Oh man, that's good stuff.
I know.
What's the update on the Mariners? I haven't looked at the scoreboard.
2-0 still.
Still 2-0?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to the game in a few weeks, which is going to be fun.
That's the Yankees game, right?
Yes.
And Squabo was talking about trying to, go to that game. We'll see.
Let me know what game you're going to. I'll call them and tell them to win that one.
We're thinking of going on the 8th.
Oh, like the That's a Monday, right? I got to get to a game. That'd be a tough one, but hey, you never know.
We got to link up with you, me, Steezy if he's there. We got to get Dovin out there.
Yeah, and then I can bring my my Mountain Dew that I owe you.
And the steak. Don't forget the steak.
Well, the steak, I don't know how to do it. Do you have steaks at T-Mobile Park? I don't know.
If you pay for the expensive seats, the one where you sit behind home plate, probably go to the club, the nice little club.
Oh, yeah. Let's just sit there in the Diamond Club. Let's just go there, and then you can eat all the steaks you want.
Pay $30,000 for those seats. That's a lot of money.
All right, Tyler, it's good to see you, man. Thanks for jumping in here. We're gonna bring another one in here real quick. We'll rapid fire these guys in here. I'm gonna bring Anthony D. Anthony D, another big supporter of the NorbCam. Appreciate it. What's going on, Anthony? From Yakima, Washington.
How you doing, buddy? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you're kind of loud, but I can hear you.
Anthony, don't they
not
have
a lack of volume.
Electricity yet out there?
I know, you're like in the dark. You're like, you got the Blair Witch Project lighting going on there, man. What's up? I mean, I know it's hot, but what, they melt your power or what? What's going on? What do you got? You got a question for anybody?
You probably cannot see it, but I am growing a mullet.
Okay.
Okay. All right, bringing back the mullet? Yeah. I think Mark sported a mullet back in the day, right? Oh, no comment. You know that means he's guilty as charged. Hey, I had a mullet. I had a mullet with a little ponytail. A little ponytail that went all the way like 5 inches long.
I hear that all the time when people watch the documentary about my mullet.
I did grow a mullet in high school.
Okay, all right. Bringing the trend back. Bringing the trend back.
Why are you sitting in the dark, Anthony?
I know. Where are you?
In my house, in my living room.
Oh, okay.
No, but it's not even. The sun's still out. Why is it dark in your house? If you're like East Coast time, I'd actually understand it. But it's like it's only 8:50.
I'm thinking you don't want to know here.
Yeah, maybe we don't. We don't want to know.
I'm thinking it's okay.
All right, Anthony. I got other people I got to bring on here. You got a question
Anthony,
for anybody?
Nah, I just wanted to say hi to you, buddy. It's been a long time, really.
It has been. It has been, man. But
and I haven't worked on my script for a while. I've been trying to get onto it.
Well, now that you're going from feature film to TV series length, you're going to be working on that for a while, man. But hey, just got to keep sticking with it.
I realized not only I still have a long way to go, I think it's going to be too long to be a movie.
Well, all right, man. Getting ready for the long haul. Vinnie, did you ever write? I know you did broadcasting. Are you a writer too, or just strictly?
No,
you are. You
I've
have written some stuff.
I've written. Matter of fact, I'm working on a script for something right now.
Look at that. So we got a couple writers right here on this panel. But Vinnie, man, he's been in it at a long time, so he could tell you some stories. I'm sure.
Me feel good.
Hey, man, let me know if you need some actors, man. I know a guy.
All right, Anthony, you're scaring me. Take care.
All right, Anthony.
I'm nervous.
Let's bring a couple more before we wrap it up. Let's bring Coach Mesh on. One of the guys who's responsible for really enhancing my Madden playing skills. Coach Mesh, what you got?
So, I've been waiting to get out my statistics here. And so the 2020 season, the only true season that Drew Lock had, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett had more receiving yards and touchdowns than Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, and Jerry Jeudy. Those three wide receivers. So with Drew Lock now getting probably the best duo in the history of football, I think his game will be on top and he could take it to the next level. But he also needs to play defense, take what the defense gives you, because sometimes when he throws the ball, he throws pick sixes off. So that's what I see.
Which is why he's got the touchdown to interception ratio that we're talking about. I appreciate the comment, man. I don't know about two best receivers in history. That might be a stretch. Maybe in Seahawks history, you could make an argument for that, but he will have some weapons, and that's for sure. The question is, can he deliver like FedEx and get it on time?
No, who said FedEx did it on time?
FedEx did it on time. I don't know if Drew Lock can do it. We're going to find out. That's why we got to let him play it, because we just got to find out, right?
Let Lock cook.
3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, but 3 weeks from now, definitely we'll know a lot more about what they have. Then
it definitely makes the preseason much more interesting, right?
Yeah,
because
finally.
when it's Russell Wilson, it's like, okay, yeah, we're just going to watch some backups play. But now it's like, we're watching the starters compete for who's going to be the guy, and it makes the preseason much more interesting for sure, I think.
What happens if both of them get hurt?
Uh-oh.
I
don't want knock on wood right now.
Well, we got we got Jacob Eason. Jacob Eason's the third quarterback, right? Isn't he still there?
No, thank you.
Put me in.
I'm just saying that's the guy, unless you get a Jimmy Garoppolo on the street.
Now, both
or
of them
something.
get hurt, then I think your theory that we did in the early part of the show might be exactly what they need to do. If both quarterbacks get hurt, then you're like 1 in 16, man. And
then you go with the Squabo theory, like, hey guys, we're not going to announce it, but let's just mail it in, all right?
I'll tell you something. Let's go.
All right, let me go. The guy with the best name here, Norb the Best, is in here. Norb the Best. What's your real name? I know your name is not really Norb the Best. What is your name, Gabriel, what you got? You got a question?
I actually kind of got a comment. We don't know necessarily how Drew Lock's going to react in this system. He's only played for one team in the NFL, which happened to be, not exactly, a team that could get him necessarily the time. So if we end up somehow improving our offensive line, I feel like he could end up doing better than what we anticipate. So we don't know how good the Seahawks are going to be this year.
Well,
I think that's the
the coach's job, right? I mean, the coach's job is to build a
and
system.
Gino did in fact break a record towards the end. It was the most consecutive passes completed. He broke against, I guess you could say, the worst team in the league. So, wasn't exactly that impressive, but he started to get kind of hot towards the end of the season. Towards the end of him starting.
All right, Norb the Best. Gabriel, thank you for joining in. I think he brings up a good point because, if you look up Drew Lock's best throws or best highlights, he looks like an all-star. He looks like a Hall of Famer, right? And if you look at all his worst throws, he looks like the worst quarterback on the planet.
Even if it's like a super short video, because I know he's not the greatest
it might not be very long. But you put everyone's best plays together. They've got good plays. They're a good place to be had. The question is, can he get that magic going here?
Well,
like you said, we'll find out in about a month.
What can he do when he sees two guys coming at him like this? When he sees two guys get through the offensive line and coming at him, what's he going to be able to do? Russell could scramble. He could get out of there. He could move. He could get things going.
He does have that scramble ability, I think. I've seen him play a few times.
That's what you got to see then. Maybe the offensive line will be better. But he's going to see some players in his face.
Y'all see there's a video out of it's Locke celebrating starts, and it's like a 1-minute video. And he's like doing this whole He's doing his thing at Mizzou.
I've seen it.
And then it shows the next play. He throws a pick from his own end zone. And then the opposing team and coaches all start going.
Oh, man. Sometimes it's better just to leave things unsaid, right? Mark, you got Wilson in the house. Show that again. I'm going to bring it full screen. That is Wilson, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, why don't you put that guy in your lap and caress him for a little while?
Wilson say.
Or is he going to bite your nuts off if you do that?
I don't want to see that. I don't need to see that.
He likes to wake me up at 5 o'clock in the morning so he wants to go out.
Not good.
Jumping on top of him while I'm trying to sleep.
Hey, don't let his cute little appearance fool you, because that cat is a killer.
Didn't he get you?
He's been pretty nice to me. But didn't he kill a rabbit or something, drag it into your house?
Oh my God!
He drug a rabbit in the house one night.
What?
That thing is ferocious.
What did that bunny do to you?
Dang.
All right, a couple more before we wrap.
He's not supposed to go outside at night anyway.
Vinny.
I got coyotes out there.
Before we go, let's ask everybody who's listening, your hundreds of listeners, thousands of listeners, to make sure they go onto our Facebook page for Paul Allen. People for Paul Allen Boulevard. Go there for information. You'll see our website up there. Sign our petition, and let's don't contribute any money. We don't want money. Don't contribute any money. Just sign the petition, and we really want to try to get this done and create a groundswell for this to happen. And Mark has worked hard on this. Norb has. I have. Terry from the Kirkland Seahawks is where. I mean, there's a lot of people working on this. It's only right. It's only just that the street in front of the stadium be named for the guy who really, when it comes down to it, saved the team for Seattle.
I just posted the link to the Facebook group. So if you guys are on Facebook, you can click on the link. And yes, you can. What you can do at this point is sign the petition just to get. We're trying to get public interest in this, and a lot will have to happen within the city of Seattle. We are working on a website too. That's Vinny's working on the website. We'll have that up as well. So we'll definitely keep that out there, and you guys will hear more about that.
There's a lot more to come. I mean, we're just getting going on this. But tell your friends, tell your enemies too. Tell everybody you know, mom, dad, cousins, everybody that we really want to create a groundswell, especially if you live in Seattle. If you are in the city of Seattle, it's extremely important that we get a lot of people who are registered to vote in Seattle to jump on board with this idea so that we can take that to the Seattle City Council. And, once they're awake, they'll, look at this and maybe we can get this thing a reality sometime this football season, which would be nice.
Absolutely. I just posted it in the Facebook. Deb Steele asked me, can you put it in the Facebook comments, which I did as well. So I think it's there. So, yes, you'll be hearing more about that. We're going to keep on this. It's going to be a slow rolling thing as we get momentum for it. But
oh, wow. It's bumping. It just went from 184 now. It just went from 174 to 184. Now 185, now 186.
You're talking about the petition?
Yeah, I have it up on my screen right now.
Oh, the petition is real. All right.
I
keep
just find
spreading
it too. 189.
All right.
190.
The numbers are counting. That's the thing is, we need public awareness, and the more people we have support of, the more likely we can convince the city council to do this thing. It's not going to really cost anything. It's more of just something they just got to value to it and just do it.
On that whole 3 blocks that are even affected by it. So
it's mostly just the stadium itself and the Seahawks address, but there are a few businesses impacted, but it's a pretty minimal.
I don't think the Seahawks will mind having 125 Paul Allen Boulevard on their or Paul Allen Place or whatever they wind up calling it. I think they'd be okay with that.
Yeah. No, it's great stuff. Good comments by everybody. Let's just wrap up the last couple comments here, and then we'll wrap the show up. Jason Lira is in the house. Jason, what you got?
What's up, Norm?
Hey, not much. Jason, thanks for joining the show. You got a question or comment?
What do you think the most important thing to watch for training camp and for the preseason is going to be for the Seahawks?
You going to training camp? You going to be there?
I'm actually going to the mock game, and I'm going to training camp the next day.
Ooh, the mock game. That'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, I can't wait to see them hit each other.
That's a good question. I'm going to go. I'll be going with Mark Mama Blue in the second week of August. How do you guys answer that? What do you guys think of when you think? What do you look for if you're at training camp? What do you guys? How would you answer that question?
I think I want to see how Cross is going to do. I hope he's starting day one, but
training camp's tough though, because I feel like the only thing you can really watch is you can watch the line and maybe their footwork, and you watch the quarterbacks and the route running, but because they don't have pads on, it's not like you're gonna really watch some actual hitting, So you're limited on what you can kind of scout out at training camp, I've found. But it is fun to kind of watch what the receivers do and kind of especially now quarterback is obviously going to be the thing to watch. How about you, Vinny? Have you ever gone to much training camps?
Yeah, I'm going to be watching quarterback. I'm going to be watching who gets tough with each other. I like to see guys scrap a little in training camp, fighting for jobs, and they, at those positions where there's competition, where there's a big fight. I want to see the players that want to break out, that want to prove themselves in training camp. They're either fighting for a job or whatever. Those are the people I want to see. Kind of see what they're doing in drills, see what they're doing on the field, see what they're doing with their coaches. Who are the coaches paying attention to? That's always one thing I'm looking for in camp. Are there guys that are getting more reps than other guys? Are there guys that are the coaches are going over and particularly giving instruction to? Are there guys that are staying outside after the practice is over and working with somebody else or a coach to try to improve? That usually means a coach has told them, you need to fix this, or you need to improve this, or you need to do something about this. Those are all things I'm looking for early on in training camp.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely interested in seeing the new guys on defense, seeing what the cornerbacks do. And, this whole new 3-4 scheme, that's going to just be fun to watch in general, because we've had a 4-3, defensive scheme for such a long time. Now to see this wrinkle with the 3-4, that's going to be something different as soon as we get to watch the defense on the field. So that's going to be fun to see these pretty fundamental
remember
changes.
How many people should be out on the field too? That seems to be a problem at times.
Yes. Yeah, how many times we had delay of games and 12 men
it's
on
always
the field.
good to know 11 guys are supposed to be out there. So if you count the 3 and the 4, then you only need 4 more.
Yeah, it seems obvious, but it's amazing how many times we can't count to 11. All right, one last question, and then we're going to wrap this up. This is Seahawks for life. What you got, man?
No offense, but like Sky-High showed that video showed y'all, like Bo Milton, like he's similar like DK Metcalf, like the height of the vertical jump. Like if they put him on wide receiver 3, like you're gonna have some combo like wide receivers, like Tyler, DK, and Bo Milton. But I like to see Charles Cross. Because I saw his tapes earlier. He's good passive protection. But rushing, I want to see him fulfill that. So he protect Kenneth Walker the third this year. But I like to see Charles Cross this year.
Yeah.
I think he could. Charles Cross is a pretty good pass protector. He has need improvement in the run game, and I think that's going to be part of the growing pains with the offensive line this year. Possibly seeing some struggles with the run game because those outside guys aren't as good in the run game. But that's just part of it. I think we'll get him, to be an overall very well-rounded tackle. So I'm very confident that he'll pan out to a very successful draft pick. Also,
Bo Melton, no choice. He's kind of it.
Yeah,
he's kind of the guy.
Bo Melton won't start off as a receiver 3, but he'll start slowly getting more reps over the year as guys shuffle in and out. And I think once, Seattle kind of taps into his true potential outside of playing him on special teams, I think he can be a pretty good asset to this team.
It will be a fun battle watching wide receivers 3 and 4 because it's a pretty open thing right now, I think, with the new draft picks. And we know who 1 and 2 are, but 3 and 4, we might see some new faces out there. So it'll be fun to see. All right, Matt, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Thanks for jumping on the show. Seahawks for life, and that brings us to the end of our show. Like I said, right on time. I said it'd be a 1-hour show, and here we are 2 hours later. But as we wrap up, I want to. Yeah. Seahawks trapped in here for life. All right, so before we go, I want to give everybody a chance to kind of say again, remind people where they can find them. If they have anything they want to promote, we'll give you one last chance to do it. We'll start out with Sky-High Aviation. Thanks, Sky-High, for joining the show. What you got, man?
I just want to say thank you guys for letting me do this. It's going to be such a fun season, I think. A lot of people are going to be surprised at some stuff. I'm really looking forward to it. It is officially Sky High After Dark because it is past midnight where I am at. So
that's right.
I took some time here to enjoy this, but I've had a lot of fun working with you guys today. I have a video actually coming out tomorrow and also next week as well. It's going to be some pretty interesting stuff. My channel's in the description if you guys want to go check it out. It's Sky Aviation. I post plane content, obviously. So, also join NorbFam. I know Norb hasn't promoted this enough for some reason. Join NorbFam. It's a pretty stellar service. And also join the Discord. It's a great community. If you want to be in tap with Norb 24/7, 365, we've got people all the way in Netherlands and all the people from Europe and all over the world that are part of this community, and it's a really good community to join in. Good people there, so yeah.
And quick Mariners update. It was 2-1, but now it's a 3-1 game thanks to Cal Raleigh with the home run. Squabo, I just posted up there. Cal Raleigh with the home run. 3-1 game. Mariners extend or bring it back to a 2-run lead, which is fantastic. Sky Aviation, I just have to say, I'm looking forward to the day when I'm going to jump on a plane, heading to some destination, and then you come out of the captain's quarters there, and I go, hey, Sky High, you're flying this thing. Oh, my God, I'm scared to death.
Yep.
Either that or be starring in Airplane 3. One of the other.
There you go.
Maybe both. All right, Mark, tossing it to you, man. If the floor is yours. You and Wilson.
I was quite entertained. Obviously, when you told me you were going to have Vinnie on here, I always love Vinnie's input and his view on things. And hopefully you get to do that more often. Unfortunately, I don't get to contribute very much because I don't have much to contribute. Other than, you know what?
That's not true.
I really hope people jump on board with our vision to rename that street. Get on there, join our Facebook page, sign a petition, tell your friends too. our power is in numbers, and it's all about creating awareness about what we're trying to do. But yeah, again, we wouldn't have any of that whole street, with the exhibition center, the concerts. I mean, it is, it started with saving the Seahawks, but it's really much more to that. It grew exponentially, and it all happens because of Paul Allen. So I think it's a great way to honor the man, and I think it's be something that we can get all our fans behind, and hopefully we can get some soccer fans behind it as well. And I did talk to Todd Lywicki the other day. I mean, he's now with our Kraken hockey team, but yeah, he's all over it. And everybody that we talk to says it's a great idea, but we got to get everybody on board on this one.
Yeah, definitely, Mark. Vinny, let's go to you.
If you well, let me go the other way. You can find me on Twitter at NYVinny. You can also find my website at NewYorkVinny.com. And there's loads of information, old clips and stuff like that. Drive Time Radio on Saturday morning, where we talk about cars and all things automotive, which, again, is one of the loves of my life. And hopefully I'll be appearing on a radio near you soon in another capacity. We'll see what happens.
All right, sounds good. Last but certainly not least, Squabo Says, Noah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, it's been an absolute pleasure just being back. Like, this feels like, that first kickoff of preseason. That's what the show felt like to me. Like, when I heard the countdown and, just the Norb hype up video, and you're watching NorbCam. Like, I love that, So I'm just hyped to be here. Go subscribe to all these people. Go show all these people some love. It's been a pleasure connecting with all of you. Mark, we don't talk much, but this is always fun for me. Sky-High, always a pleasure. And then Vinny, nice to meet you for sure.
Nice to meet you too. You're good, man. You're good. I'm going to be keeping my eye on you. You got you know what you're doing. You know what you're talking about. I like to see that, man.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you. There's definitely a lot I can learn from you, just like I've been learning from Norb this whole time. And so, Norb, we got to catch up. We got to stay in touch and all that stuff. My main platform is no longer YouTube. Like, I do a weekly YouTube show at Squabo Says. All my handles, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all the stuff is at Squabo Says YouTube. But my main platform is now TikTok, and I'm approaching 1,400 followers. Nothing crazy yet, but at the start of the summer, I had 600. So we're growing slowly but surely. And so yeah, just if you want to support me, go follow my TikTok. It's what I love to do.
So you're not doing OnlyFans? You don't have an OnlyFans account?
Not that I'm talking about here.
What? Yo.
At Squabo Says on OnlyFans.
That's where the big bucks really are. Yeah.
Hey, Vinny, that's what you need an OnlyFans page for Vinny.
I don't know that OnlyFans is. I don't know that OnlyFans.
Oh, there he goes.
I don't know.
I'm afraid to ask.
I don't know that OnlyFans is football content. I don't think that's supposed to be.
Oh,
about
it could be.
sports.
It could be.
Only
all right. Well. All right. Before this thing gets too far off the rails, I just want to say thank you again to all our panel members: Sky-High Aviation, Mark Collins, New York Vinny, and of course Squabo Says. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for taking a couple hours out of your evening to join me on this show and talk about our beloved Seahawks. It's going to be fun. I mean, one of us is going to be right and one of us is going to be wrong about the way this season is going to turn out. I hope that Squabo, just for the entertainment factor, I hope you're not right.
10-7.
10-7. 8-9 is kind of where I'm feeling it, but 10-7 would be a pleasant surprise. And boy, what stories would this make in the media if the lowly Seahawks, who had no business sniffing the playoffs, suddenly finish on a winning note? That would be crazy.
Let's just play some good football, man.
Both Vinny and I
said
said 10-7.
Yeah. What's that, Mark?
Yeah, let's just make the season entertaining, and hopefully it'll be more of a success than anybody really thinks it'll be.
Anyone want to bet that a stake that the Seahawks don't go 10-7?
Well, it's going to have to be one of these two guys, Vinny or Mark.
Right now, because I don't know what the quarterbacks are. Before I bet, I got to know something.
Okay.
Remember,
All right,
bet with
because
your
this
head.
is sort of like a preseason bet, right?
Right. Bet with your head, not under it.
Okay.
Before you end this, what's everybody's prediction where Denver ends up in that division?
Oh,
I got them winning it.
Wow. Really?
Yep.
Wow.
You got 'em
With
what?
what record?
Winning it. They got a cupcake start to their schedule. The football gods bless them. Like, they're playing us week 1, you know? Like, it doesn't get
Yeah,
much
but they
easier.
got to play the rest of the NFC West, and they got to play the AFC West. Is no cupcake division. Well, what do you got for their? How are they going to finish up?
He's rating them somewhere between 3rd and 4th in that division.
Squabo seems to think otherwise.
Behind San Diego and then Kansas City, or not San Diego, whatever, Chargers.
So what's the record? What record are you giving the Broncos, Squabo?
I think I can't remember the exact record. I think it was 11-6, 12-5, somewhere in that range.
Oh, I like this.
I give them a 10-7 or 9-8.
You see the comment right there?
Yes, Alina from our old school moderator. I say we all vote that Norb wear a Sierra dress in his video for the Denver prediction against the Hawks. Go Hawks! LOL.
Do it.
I don't know where I can get my hands on a Sierra dress, but I'm just telling you right now, I look pretty damn good in it.
We'll find.
We'll be happy to find one for you. I'm sure she has a whole line of fashions.
Yeah, I'm sure she does. None that
Anyway,
would
to
fit
answer
me.
my own question, I say they'll be third in that division.
I think they'll be 3rd too, and they'll be behind the Chiefs and the Raiders. Mark my
Raiders, huh?
The Raiders. I think the Raiders are going to be a really good team. This
You're not giving San Diego any love, huh?
year. I mean, it's a make or break year for that coach there. So we'll see.
Yeah, the Chargers.
I'm
aren't
putting them.
giving San
I'm
Diego
putting them.
love either.
I'm putting them 3rd too. I think the Chiefs and the Raiders, man. I think they're going to be the ones who are going to take 1 and 2.
They make the playoffs. Three teams make the playoffs. Almost 4 teams in that division. So they'll
Let
make
me
the
ask the
playoffs.
question that's on every Seattle person's mind right now: is who's going to win the Hydros?
Blue Angel.
I was having a senior moment.
Hey, it's just great that Seafair is back, right? Isn't this the first time since
all the
pre-COVID?
drinking and debauchery and women running around with no clothes on and men running around with no clothes on.
Wait, what Seafair have I been going to? That's not the Seafair I know of.
What Seafair is that?
I've been going to the wrong Seafair.
We got to go to Mark's house. Mark.
Him and Wilson just be walking around.
Oh my goodness! All right, fellas. Well, I've taken up too much of your time, but most importantly, besides thanking the great panel that we have here, I want to thank you guys, the viewers out there, for watching this show. For you guys who actually stayed here for the full 2 hours and 15 minutes, I feel sorry for you. No, actually, I'm glad you stuck with us. It was a great discussion, as good as I could have hoped for, and I hope you guys are open to doing this again sometime. Maybe we do something midway through the season, or check in to see where we're all at with all these kind of predictions we're having, and see
I think you
what the real Seahawks.
into being on more often is what I think. You still gotta invite Ron Long on one of these things.
I definitely will bring Rod Long on here.
Ron Long and Vinnie. That's entertainment.
Oh, that would be. I wouldn't even have to say anything. I just let
that.
you guys talk the whole time. Alina Dahl, final with the final super chat. Us oldies remember when we had big rivalries with Denver and Raiders, the good old days. LOL. We got the Raider Busters and all those good
Bronco Busters.
Bronco Busters.
What was it, 83 with the Raiders and us in the championship? What was that, the AFC champ? Was that the 83?
It was the Broncos.
AFC championship game.
That was
Yeah.
And they had to escort Bill the Bearman. He had to have the police help him out of the stadium because the Raiders fans wanted to kill him.
Oh, man. Well, not for nothing, but the Raider fans want to kill anybody. I mean, have you ever been to Oakland?
I went there once. Back in it was a 90-something, but man, that was scary. I was scared. I was very low key. I don't think I had a single Seahawk logo showing, except maybe like a tiny little thing in my corner of my shirt.
When the
I did not
Raiders
want to
left,
get into anything.
They used to gather in the parking lot. When the Raiders were in LA, they used to gather in the parking lot, probably 3,000-4,000 fans, and just sit in the parking lot and watch like a small TV or listen to the radio and barbecue and like the team was inside. Most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Great fans for sure. But we got our own too, so we'll see how well the 12 stick with the team. Because all I know is that I got a second batch of season tickets that popped up this year, which I didn't think the list was going to move up that quick. And all of a sudden, bam! Congratulations, you just got off the Blue Pride list, and here's your second set of seats. I'm like, wow, I didn't expect that to happen for a couple more years. But
there you go.
So they're lost my game.
Them girls better get scholarships to college now. You got to pay for your
Yeah. Tell me about it. Anyway, final super chat. Devin Coy. Miss y'all. Hope to be on soon. Devin, I miss you too, man. Hilarious guy. Sounds just like Bruno Mars.
For that Madden final, for the tournament that we have.
Yes, right. We got a Madden tournament going on right now. All right, everybody. Thank you so much, you guys. Appreciate it. And
I'll
talk soon.
Thanks a lot for having me, man. I appreciate it.
That was a blast. My pleasure is all mine. I appreciate you and honored to have you guys on here.
All right.
Good night, y'all.
Nice
Go
meeting
Seahawks.
you guys. Nice. Mark, be good.
Later.
I am not a crook.